Hello. Hello, video viewers. How are you? We're not on the radio yet. Just taking care of some loose ends here. We're going to have fun. We always have fun. It's always fun when we're together. That was creepy. Speaking of creepy, we've got the attorney later on who represented Deep Throat back in the 70s. Deep Throat died in 2008. Watergate, you remember? Remember that? All right, I'm multitasking here, so don't mind me for a minute. Well, welcome to the show. And by the way, all right, I'm going to be standing by for the big Q from Mike. Mike. The way I see it, we're about 20 seconds away right now. Welcome to the show. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. I screwed up again. Okay. But luckily we caught it in time. All right. Here we go. We're rocking. We're rolling. We're Friday. Fabulous Friday. How are you? John James here, your friendly, affable host. Starting out the weekend a little early. Going to be a crappy day today here weather-wise, I guess. Supposed to have some pretty torrential rain, which is okay. That's all right. Me and my bride will stay inside and watch some Netflix maybe or maybe not. I don't know. The weekend, the world is my oyster on the weekend. I get to do things I normally don't get to do because there's always so much to be researching and investigating. So hopefully you're going to have a good weekend. I know I am. I wanted to share something with you. I saw this sitting on my stand this morning. I thought, I meant to share this with listeners and viewers. Now you get it. I get gun magazines. I get NRA gun magazines. I'm a member of the USCCA. I get their magazine. I get the paper from the Sportsman's Alliance of Maine. Now magazines, if you get them at the newsstand, you know a good gun magazine is going to run you about $9 or $10 or more. If you get like Guns and Ammo or something, not cheap. They aren't cheap anymore. Remember, they used to be like 75 cents for a magazine, right? But they're not cheap. I got this at Sam's Club. I was just perusing, and I was surprised at the number of magazines and books, gun books they have at Sam's Club. Check this out. This is the 2022 Gun Digest for $24.48. I'm going to take the tag off it now, so it'll look pristine. $24.48 for a 2022 Gun Digest. And this thing is huge. I mean, this thing is huge. And it's got all your latest guns. And I love guns. It's got all your guns and gun prices. Jeff Zimba, if you're watching the video this morning, you get to check. It has optics, all the optics you could want. It has reloading supply. I mean, this thing it has antique guns. This is freaking awesome. If you like guns, Casey Elizabeth, if you're in there this morning, if you like guns, terrific buy. $24.48 for the 2022 Gun Digest, 76th edition. I can't believe I have missed the first 75 editions of this. But now, it's on my book stand. Actually, on my couch right now. So that's just a tip for you. If you're going to be out shopping around, you get a Sam's Club membership. That's a good place to go. Yeah, Casey, good morning. Yeah, get that book. I'm sure there's some Wyndham weaponry in there too. I mean, there's every imaginable gun and prices and everything else. Oh, Great Pumpkin. Yes, I am the Great Pumpkin. I may have some new shirts Monday. I'm going to Cabela's. Going to Cabela's this weekend. Make sure we've got the beef jerky supplies and all that. Check the ammo situation out maybe. And pick up shirts. That's the only place I do any clothes shopping is at Cabela's, not Sam's Club. I suppose you can buy clothes at Sam's Club, I guess. I never have, but I guess you can. I don't know. They've got about everything in there, and they've got it's all enormous. You know, if you want to buy a 6-pound box of peanuts or something, I mean, they've got it. It's cray is what we call it. The hipsters anyway. 9:06 right now on the Legacy 1160 pep rally, Freedom's pep rally. And let's start out with a look at today in history. And then we're going to get back to the news at hand. Boy, do we have some stuff going on for you. We always do. I mean, that's not saying anything. I say that every day because every day it's true. I was reading something on Clout Hub this morning, just a minute ago. Let me, Kamala, what a piece of work she is. She just never ceases to amaze me. From Mr. Producer on Cloud Hub, just 6 minutes ago, posted, Kamala asks staff to call on reporters from pre-approved list because they can't answer anything genuinely. They have no answers for anything genuinely. Only the pre-approved people who in the press corps, and probably the pre-approved people have pre-approved questions, and there are already pre-made answers, I would imagine. This is just the most unbelievably inept administration I imagine in the history of our great nation. Can we survive an inept administration? Oh, you think they're inept? Look at Trump. No, Trump was anything but inept. Trump was more apt. Trump was more apt, maybe, than Ronald Reagan. I don't know. He only got 4 years, right? And he had the Democrats fighting against him. Donald Trump may have been greater than Ronald Reagan. He wasn't nearly the orator. I never would say that. But he had the makings of a great president and was great for the amount of time he had and the amount of fights he had to put up with for all 4 years. Now you've got a couple of dingbats in there that have to have pre-approved questions from pre-approved press corps members. It's just they're stupid. Okay, they're stupid. I know that sounds like a schoolyard name, but they are. They're like schoolyard kids. They are like little kids. They are stupid. In fact, Dr. Ronnie Jackson, do you remember him? He was doctor under President Trump with President Trump. And he got screamed at by Obama, pretty much screamed at on paper, I guess, for suggesting that Joe Biden needed to have some sort of a mental test done because he is not fit to serve as president. Ronnie Jackson says that. He says he can tell. We'll do it. I'll give you the story. That's one of the stories coming up in the first hour. So stick around. Let's start with Today in History. It's the 12th of November. Please come back. Please share. I'm John James.
November 12th, 1927. Joseph Stalin becomes undisputed ruler of what's then the Soviet Union. His rival, Leon Trotsky, is expelled from the Communist Party. More than a dozen years later, Trotsky is killed with an ice pick while in exile in Mexico. Stalin is widely believed to have arranged the murder. His repressive rule lasts for more than a quarter century. 1942. During World War II, the naval battle of Guadalcanal begins in the South Pacific. That's where the United States and its allies win a major victory over the Japanese. 1815. Elizabeth Cady Stanton, a leader in the movement to give American women the right to vote, is born in Johnstown, New York. 1929.
Don't try to be a hero. You don't have to be a hero, not for me.
Grace Kelly, the Hollywood movie star who became Princess of Monaco, is born in Philadelphia. And 1945,
keep me searching for a heart of gold, and I'm getting old.
Neil Young, singer and songwriter, is born in Toronto, Canada. Today in history, November 12th, Camille Bohannon, The Associated Press.
I like Neil Young. I like Neil Young's music. I like it a lot. Rockin' and keep on rocking in the free world. Another Neil Young classic. 9/11 right now, Legacy 1160 WSKW. Please share. Please share the freedom and the love. We're all over the place. We're on Rumble now. We figured it out. We are going to be able to restart the broadcast each day. I'll tell you, I had to download the video of the shows yesterday, and they were uninterrupted. There was no stop and restart. And it took me so long to download 6 hours of video. It was unbelievable. So now they're going to be 3-hour videos because I need to cut them up, and we rebroadcast some of them. Mike edits them and puts them up on the Legacy Facebook page. So we did restart, and people got notified today. But we are on Rumble, and you can watch the Rumble feed right at legacy1160.com. You can watch it right on our webpage. We prefer you do that, and you can always link over to the Rumble page. There's a link right there, legacy1160.com/video. And that's where you'll find that. All the videos on Facebook, on Twitch, on Twitter, on Rumble, on YouTube, everywhere, brought to you by, got notified, Carol says, good. Brought to you by Moody's Collision Center. All the videos everywhere, and also on Getter and Cloud Hub now, too, by the way. So we do have like 12, I think, video platforms. At legacy1160.com, you can get the audio, brought to you by Harry J. Smith Company on Sanger Avenue in Waterville. And the free app, get it, the Apple Store or Google Play Store. And that's brought to you by Hardy Wolf and Downing, Maine's injury attorneys. Call 1-800-INJURED, or you can go to hardywolf.com. And the show, Freedom's Pep Rally, is brought to you by The Gun Shop on Cody Circle in Augusta. Yes, they are open today and tomorrow for all your shopping needs. And if you buy a gun there, they guarantee to have ammo to feed your gun that you buy there. And they may even have ammo on the shelves. Haven't been in there recently. But they may have ammo on the shelves for anybody to go in and buy. Because, it's starting to come back in fits and starts. Although, and I'm not sure where the pricing is. I've got quite a bit of ammo. I've done like zero target practicing. Oh, don't worry, I can still hit a target, but it's a perishable skill. Being a good marksman, and I don't claim to ever have been a good marksman, but it is a perishable skill, and you do need to go out and target shoot. But with the ammo shortage, you don't want to use it all up, So, it's one of those things you should, but you can't. And I get that. Hopefully the prices are coming down, though. Like I said, I haven't checked it recently. 9:14 now on Legacy 1160 WSKW. Speaking of guns, let's start out with a new report from Fox News regarding Alec Baldwin. Now, and here's something else, by the way. Excuse me. John O'Connor is the attorney we're going to be talking with later on this morning. And he represented Deep Throat. In fact, they have a book. They wrote a book together, Deep Throat and John O'Connor. And I posted it on my personal Facebook page, and I think on Freedom's Pep Rally and also on Legacy 1160. It's called A G-Man's Life by Mark Felt and John O'Connor. Mark Felt, W. Mark Felt, of course, was Deep Throat. So, but also, he's got some great insight into why this is not looking so good for Alec Baldwin. So, and coincidentally, this story just came out this morning from Fox News about Alec Baldwin, and let's tell you what it says here. And I'm going to be doing this somewhat verbatim because it's fairly lengthy, and I wanted to make sure we get all the facts right. The armorer for Alex Baldwin, the one who, gets the guns together. Her name is Hannah Gutierrez Reed. And Hannah Gutierrez Reed is young. She's very young. And she apparently also gave an unchecked gun to a 12-year-old actress at one time. It wasn't safety checked properly. Nothing came of that. But that's just an anecdote to go along with Hannah Gutierrez-Reed. And also Assistant Director Dave Halls have been named in a lawsuit stemming from the shooting of Helena Hutchins on the set of Rust, the movie that Alec Baldwin was shooting at the time. No pun intended there, believe me. Hutchins, Helena, was fatally shot, and Joel Souza was wounded. One shot, killed one, wounded another. The gun was held by Alec Baldwin. And I'll ask the attorney about this to see if I'm getting this. In my mind, as a gun owner, as somebody who understands guns and gun safety, it is my understanding that, safety check be damned by whoever. The person holding the gun who is going to be pulling the trigger has a duty to check it themselves. For example, when somebody hands you a gun at a store, oftentimes you go into a gun store and you want to dry fire a gun. And what that means, basically, there's no ammo, and you want to take the gun and you want to aim it at a wall or in a safe direction, and you want to, just hold it like you're going to shoot it and pull the trigger to see how hard the trigger pulls. And that, you want to do that when you buy a gun. So you ask the gun owner, the gun shop owner, can I dry fire the gun? That's the way you approach it. You say, may I dry fire the gun? And typically they will say, sure. And they will take the magazine out. They'll look at the magazine. They'll open the slide. They'll look inside, and they will hand you the gun. And they hand me the gun. And then you need to close the slide in order to dry fire the gun. So as I am handed the gun, and it may be one you need the magazine in to dry fire it, look at the magazine, put it back in the gun. I look into the chamber. I put my pinky inside the chamber in the breech, and I close the slide. And then the gun shop owner and I know it's empty. It's empty. So we both checked it, and I'm the guy pulling the trigger. So I take it and I aim it and click. And that's how that works. Ultimately, if the gun shop owner hands me a gun he says is unloaded, and I don't check it and I fire it and a bullet comes out, it's not his fault. It's his fault that he let me use a loaded gun. But it's ultimately my fault that I didn't check it before I pulled the trigger. And if I checked it and shot it and it was loaded, then clearly it would be my fault. So anyway, that's just to set this up for you. So Joel Souza was wounded. Helena Hutchins was killed. And there's been a lot of speculation since the incident about safety procedures and that sort of thing that should have prevented this from happening. There's been blame focusing on investigations of Gutierrez, and because they handled the gun before Baldwin got it. Now, according to the documents obtained by Fox News, Serge Svetnoy, the key gaffer on the indie Western film. Now, I don't know what a key gaffer is. Is that a title, or does it mean he made a gaffe? No, I think it's a film term, I guess. Maybe somebody knows, but this was the first time I'd heard that. He was the key gaffer on the indie Western film, filed a lawsuit against the trio and others, claiming the defendant's alleged negligence has caused him severe emotional distress. Now, I don't doubt that's true. I'm sure everybody on the set. In the lawsuit, Svetnoy says Baldwin owed a duty to the plaintiff and other crew members to treat the Colt revolver that was handed as a loaded weapon. Exactly what I've been saying. Baldwin owed a duty. Gaffer does the lighting. Thank you, Carol. So that makes sense to me. Now, I don't know if this guy is owed damages or anything for his emotional distress. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not the one to decide that, but what he says, what Svetnoy says, I believe is correct. Baldwin owed a duty to the plaintiff and other crew members to treat the Colt revolver he was handed as a loaded weapon. That's what the suit says. It reportedly claims Baldwin merely needed to aim the weapon toward the camera and not point it at anyone. But I think his duty went further. I think his duty went also to open. I mean, if you are familiar with gun safety, how much of a hassle is it? A revolver. This is a revolver. You push a button. You open the cylinder, the wheel gun. They call it a wheel gun. You open the cylinder, and if you see rounds in the chamber, you probably want to pop them out and see if they're blanks or if there are bullets on the end of them. Pretty easy deal. It's not a hard thing to do. The last one to have the gun was Baldwin, so I rest my case. If I'm in court, that's my case. I rest my case. He had a duty to check the gun. So the suit claims the shooting happened because of negligent acts committed by the defendants, which includes Gutierrez Reed, Halls, and prop master Sarah Zachary. Simply put, there was no reason for a live bullet to be placed in that Colt 45, that 45 Colt revolver, or to be present anywhere on the Rust set. And the presence of a bullet in a revolver posed a lethal threat to everyone in its vicinity. Well, clearly, that's what the suit is saying. Svetnoy claimed the industry standards for custody and control over firearms were not followed by those involved, and slammed the movie for failing to hire a competent, experienced armorer or adequate support crew for the armorer, and not implementing appropriate safety standards and measures on the production. Again, 3 people handled the gun, plus Alec Baldwin. All one of them had to do is follow basic gun safety protocol. Just one of them had to do that. None of them did. All guilty in my mind. All of them. Everybody who handled the gun before Baldwin got it, including Baldwin, are guilty. Now, Svetnoy, the gaffer, the lighting guy, previously stated in a Facebook post that he was standing shoulder to shoulder with Hutchins the moment the bullet passed through her and lodged in Souza, the director or producer's shoulder. He said, quote, "Yes, I was standing shoulder to shoulder with Helena during the fatal shot that took her life and injured Joel Souza." He said, I was holding her in my arms while she was dying. Her blood was on my hands. I just get the chills hearing that. Svetnoy mentioned that Baldwin, in his post at the time, noting how hard it must have been for him to be responsible for the death of Hutchins, even if it was an accident. However, he also criticized him and the other producers for cutting corners to save costs on Rust. Okay. Again, safety does not cost anything. You've got 3 or 4 people. You've got one gun. You need to have at least one person who safety checks it. And the last person who has it should be the final one who safety checks it. How much does it cost to get somebody like that, somebody who can open a gun and see if it's loaded? How much extra cost does that add to a production? I ask you. If they weren't so damned anti-gun, they would be enthusiasts and they would understand these things. But they're so anti-gun in an industry that makes billions of dollars using guns, it makes no sense. They ought to change their way of thinking to a more American way of thinking and understand, well, this has been and is a part of our culture and probably should know something about them. Kids, my grandson, who's 12, knows more about gun safety than Alec Baldwin or any of the professionals on that set. He would have worked cheap. He would have worked for a couple of Lunchables and maybe a hamburger pizza. How much does safety cost, really? Oh, poor Alec Baldwin. Stop with the poor Alec Baldwin. The guy wasn't so damned anti-gun, he would have taken a safety course and he would know he needs to be the last one to check the gun before he aims it at people and pulls the trigger. That just doesn't even feel right to somebody who has taken gun safety. Even once you know beyond a shadow of a doubt it's empty, to somebody who knows gun safety, it still doesn't feel right to point it at a person and pull the trigger. It makes you shudder to even think of doing that. But I understand you have to if you're making a movie and that's what the script calls for. I get that. But it still should make a person, somebody as allegedly talented as Alec Baldwin, it should make them say, yeah, geez, before I'm going to feel comfortable doing that, I want to make sure there are no bullets in the gun. Nope, nobody. Nope, here, no, it's good, it's good. Nope, they told me it was good. Must be good. Good. It's cold gun. Boom! Dead woman, injured guy. Trauma for the rest of their lives, whoever was on that set. Legal experts who previously spoke with Fox News noted that also Santa Fe Sheriff's Department is looking into whether criminal charges are warranted in the case. Baldwin's role as a producer leaves him open to civil liability at least. Fox News Digital has reached out to a representative for Halls, Baldwin, and Gutierrez-Reed for comment. Still waiting on that. It's just a very tragic, sad story. But what'd you get, Maxine? Oh, okay. Thank you. Maxine, I just see Maxine. I'm not sure what we're talking about when you got it, but I'm glad you get it, and I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much. Great to see you. Great to see everybody here on the video feed and in the listening audience, even if you're not commenting. Great to have you here. Please share the feed, share the broadcast, share the love, share the freedom, share the liberty, share the individualism, share America. This is Americana. This is what we're doing here today and every day on Freedom's Pep Rally. Football game. Remember, we've got a football game, I believe, tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Oh, no. Tonight at 7 o'clock. It's tonight at 7 o'clock. It is, I believe, it's Lawrence and Wyndham in Lewiston. Mike Violette is there with a play-by-play. So there you go. You want to check out high school football. This is playoff action, and it's going on your local sports station, Legacy 1160 WSKW. All right. What do we want to talk about next? I promised you something, didn't I? What did I promise you? Oh, yeah, Ronnie Jackson. Ronnie Jackson, a former physician for Donald J. Trump. You know, Donald J. Trump took a mental acuity test. I'm not sure what they call. I know what they are. I actually have been in on. I was in personally on one of them, and I've known two people who have had them. It's very interesting, and it can be very, 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 very sad to watch. And one of the ways they do this, anybody in the medical profession who has dealt with any dementia or any sort of thing before will know they do little exercises for simple. What to you and me would be, well, to you maybe, but would be simple exercises like there'll be a circle, and there'll be a dot in the middle of the circle. And the person will be asked to draw the hands on the clock to read 1:30. And I thought, and I was in, the one I was in on was a loved one. I thought, well, that's simple enough. And the hands were nowhere near 1:30. And there's, somebody I love who I know is failing, and to watch this, and there were other simple exercises that he failed at, and my sister just left the room crying, and it was very hard. Not long after that, the person lost their license to drive. With their license to drive, their will to live, and you know how that goes. Well, there's reason to believe that we have a president who is in that type of position, and they refuse, even though Donald Trump did it and he flew through it. Listen to this. Ronnie Jackson, who is now a representative from Texas, he received a scathing email from Obama for questioning Joe Biden's mental fitness. A scathing letter from Obama. Now, Obama has said that Joe Biden can screw anything up. We've heard that. Obama has raked Joe Biden literally over the coals. But you have a Republican doctor who is a representative from Texas questioning Joe Biden's mental acuity, and he gets a scathing note from smug, arrogant, swaggering Obama, who is still at the G20, I guess, or whatever the heck it's called there in Glasgow. Jackson is a retired Navy doctor. He's also a former White House doctor, not just for Obama, but also George W. Bush and Donald Trump. And he said in a podcast with Jim Banks, who is a fellow Republican, that only 20 minutes after he tweeted about Biden's recent mental mistakes, Obama pinged him. He just tore me up, Jackson said. An entire page about how disappointed he was in me and how it's beneath me as a physician and beneath me as an officer in the military to be attacking Joe Biden like this. And it was a betrayal of the trust he and his administration put in me, and he was so disappointed in me. Well, maybe the representative from Texas is worried about America. Imagine that, putting America before a demented fool's mental acuity. Imagine that, swaggering Obama. Well, you can't say things like that. Shut up, Obama. Shut up. The more you talk, the dumber you sound. As time goes on, the more smug you look. The more you talk, the more smug you look, the dumber you sound. As he made gaffe after gaffe at the summit the other day. Just shut up, Obama. Just because you hate America doesn't mean that Ronnie Jackson, your former doctor, hates America. No, he'd like to see America saved, and he doesn't want to see us circling the drain under a demented president like Joe Biden and an albatross like Kamala Harris. So Jackson is serving his first term in Congress. He's a freshman. Here's what the doctor said. Dr. Ronnie Jackson, again, physician to several presidents. He's not Biden, but Obama, Trump, George W. He insisted Biden, who is 78 years old, the oldest ever president to hold office, continues to show signs of mental stress. Professional opinion. Taken. Understood. He said, all I know is he's got age-related, he wasn't rude either. Here's what he said in the podcast. All I know is that he's got age-related cognitive decline. He's not mentally fit right now. He's 78 years old, and you can see it. You don't need to be a physician to look at him and to look at his behavior and some other stuff, just the way he shuffles away, stares off into space. I mean, how many times do we see that? We, as mere mortals, non-doctors, well, some of us are doctors. I'm talking about myself. But we've got doctors on. We've got a couple, 2, 3 doctors on this who listen to this show periodically. Are we wrong to look at him and say, there's something not right there? Right? He stares off into, I'm staring off into space, just with that empty look in his eyes. Or he shuffles off like an old man shuffling. And I don't mean anything negative about the man, the person, but he shuffles off like a man walking down a hall in a nursing home, going back to his room. And don't get me wrong. I realize I may be there someday. Right? I get that. I understand that. It's sad, but it's as sad, if not more sad, for the country who they are allowing him to pretend rule. They got what they wanted. They got an empty vessel. They tell him what to say, what to do, and he tries to say it. He can't really speak all that clearly either, but he tries to say what they tell him to say, tries to do what they tell him to do. Every once in a while, he has a lucid moment, but that goes away quickly. Those are getting more few and far between, I think, over time. Here's something else Ronnie Jackson said, and he's right. He says, I know what that job entails, both physically and mentally, and how demanding it is. And I can tell you right now, I'm 100% sure, I am 100% sure, said Ronnie Jackson, that Joe Biden is incapable of doing that job. Remember, this guy has been there under 3 presidents. 2 terms of Bush, 2 terms of Obama, that's 16 years. 4 of Trump, that's 20 years. Now he's a representative. Thank God. Thank God he's still there to make sense of some of this stuff. I love that we have doctors in Congress willing to speak out. Rand Paul's another one. Now, the Biden has not released a medical report, by the way, since 2019. 2 years. 2 years. Wouldn't you think Americans have the right to know? Wouldn't you think there would be some kind of a mandatory test? Maybe that should be written into the Constitution. Because there are simple tests, easy ways to figure out if somebody has the cognitive ability to do difficult tasks or even simple tasks, like tying your shoes. I don't know if he can tie his shoes. I mean, this basics, right? Can he even do the basics? Well, we don't know. They aren't telling us. They're keeping it from us. The president was most recently criticized at it's COP26. I'm not G20. COP26 summit, climate summit in Glasgow, because he fell asleep, for one thing. In 2018, Ronnie Jackson was widely panned by the mainstream media while serving as Trump's White House doctor when, after giving him a cognitive test, he held a press conference in which he praised Trump's incredible genes. And he said, there's no question he's in excellent, he is in excellent range when it comes to his cardiac health. He has incredibly good genes, and it's just the way God made him, Jackson said in a press conference. I told the president that if he had a healthier diet over the last 20 years, he might live to be 200 years old, adding that Trump had a perfect score on perfect score on the Montreal Cognitive Test assessment. And Biden, you can't even get Biden to, or any of his handlers. And there's a reason why. There's a reason why they don't want him to take it. Because they want him that he's the empty vessel. They can steer in he could be steered in any which direction before he had cognitive decline. He was just a rudderless ship waiting for a tugboat to pull him to the left. But now it's even worse. Now he doesn't have any independent thoughts. They're all put there by his handlers. I'm convinced. That's why they will not give him a cognitive test. They do not want to lose their rudderless ship. And they would. We'll be right back. I'm John James. This is Freedom's Pep Rally.
WSKW, Legacy 1160.
If you love to shop, whether it's for yourself or for others, you've got to visit Townline Antiques. With new items arriving nearly every day, you never know what treasure you may stumble upon. Whether it's vintage signs, sports memorabilia, jewelry, coins, books, comics, artwork, or classic electronics, you're always sure to find something that tickles your fancy. Plus, there's lots of great furniture, glassware, and household goods. And their vintage Christmas booth is now fully stocked with many wonderful items. If you're looking for ornaments, lights, stockings, figurines, or any other holiday decor, you've got to stop by and shop this dazzling selection. You'll also find Santas galore with dolls, pictures, ceramics, and more. Or how about a classic Christmas toy like a teddy bear or a truck? Townline Antiques is a great place to find that truly one-of-a-kind gift or treat yourself to a trip through some wonderful memories with a present for yourself. Townline Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5, Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassalboro Town Line.
There are two types of people in the winter, those that put off their heavy work until the spring, and those who visited Whittemore & Sons for a Coyote tractor, so they can get nearly any job done no matter the weather. Coyote tractors are some of the toughest, most powerful, fuel-efficient, technologically advanced tractors ever built. Move that big pile of snow, transport that wood, and take care of all of your other heavy-duty winter jobs in no time with a Coyote tractor. Check out our full line of tough and versatile Coyote compact tractors, attachments, implements, and accessories at Whittemore & Sons, with dependable sales and service for over 50 years. Speaking of service, don't forget our service department is always ready to get you back in business. You never know when something may go wrong, but no matter when it does, Whittemore & Sons is ready to help. If you have questions or want to schedule a pickup, just call 474-2591. Run ahead of the pack with a Coyote tractor from Whittemore & Sons on the Waterville Road in Skowhegan. Sales and service by a family who cares.
Need a strong, dependable truck to take on the upcoming winter months? Stop in to save on new Ram trucks at Haight Chrysler Dodge Jeep during Ram Power Days, going on now through the end of September. Haight Chrysler Dodge Jeep, 507 Lakewood Road, Klaus Corner, Madison.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor. Becoming mostly cloudy this morning and through the day today with the chance for some showers. Slight chance for a thunderstorm, especially over New Hampshire and western Maine. Cooler with highs in the upper 60s and low 70s. Partly sunny tomorrow with scattered showers and thunderstorms during the afternoon. Highs will be in the low to mid 70s. Mostly sunny for the middle and end to the week with highs in the mid to upper 70s.
All right. For some reason, I get the... I know that's not the right forecast. I don't know what happens there. I think the computer at the radio station, and this is for anybody at the radio station listening. I think the computer at the radio station holds the old forecast forever, because I know Matt Honig is on this morning. So just as an FYI, it's nobody's fault. It's just the equipment. Try to get that taken care of. It's going to rain today. That's pretty much what we know. It's 9:44 right now on Legacy 1160 WSKW. Well, schools and school boards and compliance. You must comply with what the school board and the school unions say. How about when the National School Board? How about when the National School Board Association, in concert with the Department of Justice, hey, Merrick, how can we write a letter that will make parents seem like terrorists? You want to know how evil and corrupt the Department of Justice under Merrick Garland. America, Garland, I don't know who the hell I am, but I think I'm Merrick. My name is Merrick. According to, listen to this. If you don't know this story, you got to listen to this because this is stunning. This is absolutely stunning. Now, we've alluded to this, but now the proof is there. It was a dirty deed. They conspired, the DOJ and the school board, the National School Board, they conspired to attack parents. If you go to a school board meeting and you disagree with the school board, the National School Board and the Department of Justice, the FBI, the Secret Service, conspired to attack you where you live. According to Fox News, newly released internal emails revealed that the National School Boards Association, the NSBA, coordinated with the White House, I'm Joe, and the Department of Justice in America. Before they sent President Biden that notorious letter comparing concerned parents as to domestic terrorists. So Merrick Garland, this is to make it simple. I'm going to use people instead of organizations. To make it simple, Merrick Garland and Joe Biden and the National School Board Association got together and said, why don't you guys write this letter saying you're concerned about domestic terrorist parents interrupting school boards because we have this woke agenda we need to get through, and the parents who are speaking out against gender theory and against critical race theory, they're in the way. So we've got to get rid of them. We've got to eliminate those people. So why don't you write a letter and Merrick will tell the FBI and the Secret Service and whoever else to go after those parents. Perfect. It's a perfect plan. And that's just what happened. That's just what happened. That was not the idea of the school board administration or not theirs alone. It was conspired with Merrick Garland's DOJ, with Joe Biden's White House, and with the School Board Association, and I'm sure the school unions, because they're all in it to win it here. They want power and control over your children, which is why Glenn Youngkin won the race in Virginia, by the way. So anyway, now we know that the emails provided to Fox News show that the NSBA had, in fact, coordinated with the White House for weeks before the letter was sent. And Merrick Garland immediately took just a few days. He got the letter. He knew it was coming. They had planned it. They had planned this letter. Merrick Garland got it and said, well, we've got to get the FBI on this. Go after those parents out there that are raising hell at school board meetings. Get them the hell out. Remember the school board in Loudoun County, Virginia, who covered up a freshman girl, a 13 or 14-year-old girl getting raped in a bathroom because the assailant was a boy in a dress. So they covered it up. Oh, we can't let that get out. Can't let that get out. We've got these transgender bathroom policies we've got to get through, and this is going to ruin it. So we'll just shut the father up. We'll have the father arrested, which they did. The father got arrested for speaking out at a school board meeting. This is sick. This is a mental illness. This is immoral. This is wrong. These are scum of the earth. These school boards, these DOJ people, the White House, they're the scum of the earth. And they don't know what the hell they're doing. Not a bit, not even a little bit. They're inept. They're inept and they have an agenda. Those are two dangerous combinations. It's like a stick of dynamite with a lit fuse. And there it is. You don't know when it's going to blow up, but it's going to blow up, and we're all going to pay. So when Merrick Garland was confronted with threats to parents, remember this? He was confronted with calling parents domestic terrorists in the memo he sent out. Here's how he responded.
Nothing in this memorandum or any memorandum is about parents expressing disagreements with their school boards.
That's exactly what it was about. That is exactly. He sat there and he lied, because that's what Merrick Garland does. He lies for the administration. He lies to help build back Biden better. That's all that matters. They don't want to build America back better. They don't want to build anything back better except for Joe Biden's reputation and the globalist society that they're looking to achieve. In a record pace, too, by the way. How fast are they moving? Well, how fast did they move with this? Viola Garcia, who is the president of the NSBA, the National School Board Association, whom the Department of Education later named to a federal board. Well, she sent a memo to NSBA members on October 11th, dated October 12th, providing a timeline of the NSBA's interaction with the White House ahead of the letter to Biden. The NSBA sent that out on September 29th. Now, a few days later, October 4th, what's that, about 4 or 5 days. So within that time frame, they got the letter from the NSBA, which the White House, the DOJ, and the NSBA conspired to write. So they got the letter, and within 4 days, the DOJ issued a memo directing law enforcement to investigate threats to school boards, a.k.a. parents, within 4 days. On October 22nd, the NSBA issued an apology for the letter. Well, if it wasn't their idea, why are they apologizing? Well, actually, it wasn't their idea alone. Merrick Garland, Joe Biden's administration, I don't think Joe Biden was aware. I think he's aware of where the bathroom in the Oval Office is. Clinton sure was. And the NSB, they all conspired to get this letter. And within 4 days, boom, the attack began. The attack was to begin. FBI, you go after those. The FBI going after parents? That's not their job. That is not an FBI job. Oh, and Merrick Garland's DOJ, it sure. Hey, you go get him. So Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton is on Fox News yesterday with Bill Hemmer. Cotton had asked Merrick Garland for specific examples about threats to school boards several days ago. And Hemmer asked him, did he ever get back to you?
Shockingly, no, he didn't, even though he responded in just 4 intervening days from the time the National School Board Association sent him this outrageous letter accusing parents expressing their opinion at school board meetings of being domestic terrorists. That's a land speed record for the government, Bill. As you can probably imagine, these bureaucrats can't restock the coffee in the pantry in 4 days, much less issue a nationwide directive sicking the feds on parents who are concerned about their kids' education.
Right.
What happened here is obvious. The National School Board Association, in concert with political hacks in the Department of Justice and the White House, colluded in advance to issue this letter. The Department of Justice knew it was coming, and then they sicked the feds on parents. That's why Merrick Garland should be resigning in disgrace. He should
be fired, or he should resign, but he won't. There's not. We have no pride. We have no morals. We're making ground. We're gaining ground. We're getting those evil domestic terrorist parents out of the way. You hear that? They colluded. The DOJ, the NSBA, and the White House colluded to write the letter, and as soon as it got to the DOJ, within days, Merrick Garland sicked, that's his term, that's Cotton's word, he sicked the FBI on parents. America. Have you ever heard of anything as sleazy? So, DOJ, school board, White House got together, and they crafted their letter that would allow Garland to illegally use the federal government to but they don't care about. Constitution be damned. They don't care about that. The left does not care about any of that. It's do it now without permission and ask for forgiveness later. Or they never will ask for forgiveness because they can't admit they did something wrong. They won't. Because the Constitution is just an impediment. I'm telling you right now. So, Tom Cotton, have you gotten any examples at all of so-called domestic terrorism by parents from Merrick Garland?
No, we didn't get any. All he's ever cited is a school board letter and unspecified news reports. I suspect the news reports are the ones cited in the school board's letter, which the School Board Association has now repudiated, and which use such discredited examples as a parent in Loudoun County who was angry that his daughter had been raped in a bathroom by a boy dressed as a girl. The school board then covered it up because they didn't want it to interfere with their transgendered policy in Pride Month. And even more amazingly, they transferred the perpetrator to another school where he assaulted another girl.
Right.
All because it would have interfered with their woke agenda.
Right. They knew. They denied it ever happened. They knew it. Of course they knew it happened. A girl was raped by a boy in the girls' room. Guy wearing a dress. Of course they knew it happened. If you were the father, you would have been pissed off, and rightly so, and he got arrested. You can't make this stuff up. This society is going down the toilet. We need to stand up and stop it. Oh, hear this. Oh, we're not going to bother your kids. Listen to this. We're on a roll here before we take a break. Alan Walker, whose pronouns are they, them, is a non-binary assistant professor at Old Dominion, and he has a book out seeking to mainstream pedophiles. How about that? A professor at a college. Boy, I'd like my kids to learn from them. Sorry, I called Alan a him. My bad. I'm so sorry for that. The book is called A Long Dark Shadow, Minor Attracted People and Their Pursuit of Dignity. So in a TikTok video, Walker talks about the term minor attracted people, or as he calls them, MAPs. Are you ready? Here's the professor.
So much for that question. I use the term minor attracted person or MAP in the title and throughout the book for multiple reasons. First of all, because I think it's important to use terminology for groups that members of that group want others to use for them. And MAP advocacy groups like Before You Act have advocated for use of the term MAP. They've advocated for it primarily because it's less stigmatizing than other terms like pedophile. A lot of people, when they hear the term pedophile, they automatically assume that it means a sex offender. And that isn't true, and it leads to a lot of misconceptions about attractions toward minors. I've definitely heard the idea that you brought up, though, that the use of the term minor attracted person suggests that it's okay to be attracted to children. But using a term that communicates who someone is attracted to doesn't indicate anything about the morality of that attraction.
Okay. All right. I think I'll leave that right there. And we'll be back. I'm John James.
Legacy 1160, WSKW.
Your trail to adventure begins at Moosehead Trading Post. Hunting season is here, and every aisle is packed with all the hunting accessories you need. Head to Moosehead Trading Post for apparel that'll keep you warm and visible. Grab some deer scents and cover scents to help you stay undetected. Or get a jump on ice fishing season with ice augers and jet sleds. But hurry in because these won't last long. And as always, over 500 new and used firearms in stock. Buy, sell, trade, or pawn at Moosehead Trading Post, 428 Oxbow Road in Palmyra.
What's important here at Moody's is we have a lot of opportunity for upward mobility.
Moody's definitely helped me through. They sent me to school. I got my degree in business. I had the demeanor and I had the willpower and the want.
Our trade is constantly changing and there's always new challenges that arise.
I definitely feel like an owner. It's very exciting.
When you like what you do, you like your job, you like the people you work with, what else could you ask for?
Bring your skills to Moody's and build a long-term future with us.
Do you have itchy, irritated, or burning eyes? Then you're just like 16 million other Americans who suffer from dry eye syndrome. But there is a way to find a solution to the issue. Contact Kennebec Eye Care and schedule an exam. There are many reasons people experience dry eye: medications, systemic diseases, birth control, CPAP machines, and more. And an exam with Kennebec Eye Care will identify what's causing it and how to best treat it. Schedule an appointment today by calling 872-2797. Kennebec Eye Care, your site specialist, 216 Main Street in Waterville, and online at KennebeckEyeCare.com.
From the Home Auto Group Studios, Farmington Ford and Franklin Chrysler in Farmington. This is WSKW, Skowhegan, Augusta, Waterville, Legacy 1160.
ABC News, I'm Elizabeth Schulze. Less than 2 weeks from Thanksgiving, fears of a new increase in COVID-19 cases. ABC's Trevor Alt has more.
22 states reporting a surge in infections and rising hospitalizations in 14 states, some already pushed to the brink. Health experts say this latest surge is fueled by unvaccinated Americans, waning immunity from the vaccine, and colder weather as more people gather indoors.
California and Colorado have now gone above and beyond CDC guidelines, recommending vaccine boosters for all adults. President Biden hosts his third full cabinet meeting today. He's set to sign the bipartisan infrastructure bill into law Monday. The State Department says all American citizens in Afghanistan who want to leave have been offered departure, but not all are yet out of the country. Today is the final day of the UN Climate Summit in Scotland. This is ABC News. A staple of corporate America is about to break apart. Details from ABC's Aaron Katersky.
For 135 years, Johnson & Johnson has been the reliable producer of things like Tylenol, Benadryl, and Neutrogena. That business is spinning off into its own as yet unnamed consumer products company, leaving Johnson & Johnson to concentrate on medical devices and prescription drugs like its COVID-19 vaccine. Shareholders have demanded more from corporations, and the hope is splitting them up will create focus and profits.
And in Japan, Toshiba Corporation says it's dividing into 3 parts. It plans to house its energy and infrastructure divisions in one company, while its device and storage businesses will occupy another. In Italy, the famous Ecto 1 car from the 1984 hit movie Ghostbusters is missing and presumed stolen. The 1959 Cadillac Miller Meteor Sentinel was on display as part of a promotional tour for the new Ghostbusters Legacy movie. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News.
Did you know that United Healthcare helps connect you to doctors and therapists with 24/7 access to virtual care?
So I could have therapy from my couch?
Yep.
Or a doctor appointment from my car?
If you wanted to.
Wait, you're right. I don't even like when people see me sing in the car. Couch appointment it is. Virtual visits are just one of the ways United Healthcare helps connect you to better health. Learn more at uhc.com. Plan benefits may vary.
It's not just boughs of holly that are going to deck your halls this holiday season. It's you decking the whole house with outdoor lights and holiday decor from the Home Depot. Fill your yard with Yuletide treasure like a hand-painted LED reindeer sculpture. Want to build a snowman? You can, with our 6-foot sparkling snowman covered in lights. You can even pair it with a Disney inflatable spin. You know, from the movie your kids still watch 3 times a day. 'Tis the season to make things jolly, and the Home Depot has everything you need to make the holidays yours. The Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Welcome back. Freedom's Pep Rally. Live and in color. Orange, albeit, but still color. Yep. Hunting season here in Maine. I got my Wyndham weaponry hat, my blaze orange Cabela's shirt. I'm ready to rock the woods. Actually, you know, I don't deer hunt typically. I don't eat deer. I don't know. I've never been a big deer. I like bird hunting. Bird hunting's my thing. And I was doing my Joe Biden. Carol got that. I was doing the people watching. I do my Joe Biden blank stare every once in a while. I actually do that for real sometimes when my wife is asking me things, but it's just acting when I'm here on the video feed and on the radio. It's 10:05, 10:06 actually right now on Legacy 1160. If you want exact time. Let's see. We've got so much crazy stuff to get to. At 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, we have John O'Connor. He's an attorney. He's going to talk to us about what kind of trouble Alec Baldwin could be in. And how does he know? Well, you'll find out. He was also an attorney for Deep Throat back in the day. Mark Felt, Deep Throat, Watergate. You remember that? You remember? So he'll be on with us, and we're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff, all kinds of clients, but specifically, I think about the Alec Baldwin case, which we had the update this morning on. And Alec Baldwin does have some role in not safety checking the gun. I think we'll ask the attorney what the legal aspects of that are coming up. LeBron James. Now, I'm not a big sports guy, you know that, but it does. It absolutely sounds like a porno movie. Casey. And in fact, that's probably where Linda Lovelace did that porno movie. And I don't know which came first, whether it was Watergate, Deep Throat, or the movie, but I know they were they were in the same era, as I recall. I think probably Mark Felt came first. I was like back in 72 or 73 or something like that. I don't even remember. That was so long ago. I just remember watching the hearings in black and white on my parents' Zenith TV. 10:07 right now. Does Zenith still make TVs? Isn't it just Panasonic, Sanyo, and what's the other one? We've got I don't remember what it is. The people who make my phone, maybe. What? No, not Android. Samsung. Thank you. Yeah, Samsung. LeBron James, though, let's talk about this guy for a minute. LeBron James is being blasted now on social media, as well he should be. This cocky, arrogant basketball superstar, future Hall of Famer. He mocked Kyle Rittenhouse for breaking down into tears. Now, Kyle Rittenhouse, the teenager from Illinois who went to Kenosha, Wisconsin during the riots there after the shooting of Jacob Blake, who, by the way, Jacob Blake, I want you to know that the shooting was, in fact, justified. It was a justified shooting. I don't know if you're aware of that, but it was a justified shooting. Jacob Blake. He was a loser. He was there to threaten his former wife or girlfriend. He didn't comply with the police. He didn't comply. It's always resisting arrest. What could possibly go wrong when you resist arrest, you moron? So then, of course, BLM and Antifa come out and they start burning and looting and tearing down. So this one kid on the other side, Kyle Rittenhouse, comes out to help out the situation, to scrub graffiti off buildings, to help clean things up. And, of course, he takes a gun because it's a violent area to be in. And he shoots 3 people, kills 2 in self-defense. And now the media says nothing about why he was there, or the other side that was destroying Kenosha, looting, burning car dealerships, says nothing about him. All their focus is on Kyle Rittenhouse, who protected himself. Like it or not, lefties, like it or not, libs, guns and self-defense are a law, are a rule, are a God-given right in the United States of America. Shut up, Get off your high horse, read the Constitution, or go back to school and learn this stuff. Open a book, read. There's simple books. I've got some right here. Let me show you. Let me show you, lefties. I ordered these from one of my guests. I've got the Federalist Papers. I've got Electoral Call. Oh, here we go right here. Here we go right here. Check it out. Student's Guide to the Constitution. There you go. Okay, lefties, pick it up, read it. It talks about the Second Amendment. It talks about the various sections. It even has pictures. It has, look, see? If you're watching on video, it has pictures in it. So you'll be entertained as you try to read through these hard words. Like, let me see where the Second Amendment is. Section 4. These are great books. These are fantastic books. It's got all the sections. Article 5, Section 2. Oh, boy. I don't know. I'm not going to find the amendments here. They're in here, though. They're in here, and they're all defined. Second Amendment. Here it is. This is capsulized for the stupid people. The right of the people to keep and carry weapons such as guns will not be restricted. That's basically that's easier language. You won't have to struggle to understand it because it's put in plain English so even kids can understand it. Self-defense. Oh, LeBron James. Oh, no, the kid's a criminal. He makes fun of him crying. He tweeted, LeBron James tweets, "What tears? I didn't see one. Man, knock it off. That boy ate some lemon heads before walking into court." Wow. Okay, LeBron. All right, LeBron. Here are some of the tweets in response to this idiot. This smug, 8-foot-tall giant of a man who picks on children, kids, who also have a right to protect themselves. Melissa Tate says, in response to King James, he is a godly man, not. She says, you like picking on the powerless teenager while turning a blind eye to true evil, like your Chinese CCP masters that have 2 million Muslims in concentration camps making your sneakers. Ha! Take that, LeBron. How about that? Stephen Miller says, hey, King, any support for your fellow NBA player, Enes Kanter, speaking out against the mass extermination of ethnic Muslims in China, you effing coward? Boom! Here's a little bit. If you missed the Rittenhouse, he broke down. It was very sad to watch. It was hard to watch. Actually, Sean Hannity made a good point. Looked like he was having a panic attack, which he's on national TV. He's a kid. He's in court. He's being badgered on the stand. So here's a little bit of the breaking down on the stand, which is being criticized by Hollywood elite in addition to LeBron. LeBron, I love Chinese genocides, James, because the Chinese people give me money. He is so much like his masters there in the White House, isn't he? Here is Kyle Rittenhouse on the stand.
I was cornered from in front of me with Mr. Zeminski, and there were three. That's right, run. I'm going to just take a time for our break anyway.
That's Kyle Rittenhouse breaking down on the stand. LeBron's a tick turd. There you go. I like that. I haven't heard that one before. That's good, Rick. Thank you very much. Derica, I was loving the judge until the last 30 minutes of the trial yesterday. I missed that. I saw him just absolutely go off on the prosecutors the other day. I enjoyed that. As you know, there's just so much to take in. But I'll have to check that out. I'm not sure what happened there in that last part of the trial yesterday. So anyway, last night, Kyle's mom was on with Sean Hannity. Her name is Wendy Ritthauser. So she was on with Sean Hannity, and she wanted to do what any mother would want to do in that moment when her son was crying.
I just broke down with Kyle crying like that. It made me feel heartbroken, sad, and I wanted to just go up there and just hug him and tell him it would be okay.
Wendy Rittenhouse, and there, of course. And if you saw the kid, I mean, he does. He looks like a kid. He is a kid. She also felt anger when Biden and other high-ranking officials, for the sake of, catering to the mob, because that's what they have done historically forever. They cater to the mob. The lawbreakers, they love. The righteous people who care about America, they hate. What's wrong with that picture? So Joe Biden, demented Joe, the feckless, demented piece of crap, a Gold Star mom's words, not mine. He called, before any trial or anything, he called Kyle Rittenhouse a white supremacist, as did others in high places. A white supremacist, they love that word. They love that word is for anybody they disagree with. Doesn't matter what color you are, doesn't matter. Nothing matters except they disagree with you. Then you're a white supremacist. And so Biden called Kyle Rittenhouse, who he doesn't even know, didn't even know the circumstances, had no clue, called him a white supremacist. Here's what his mother had to say about that.
When I saw what afterwards of the President Kennedy candidate debate, when I saw that, I was in shock. I was angry. President Biden don't know my son whatsoever, and he's not a white supremacist. He's not a racist, and he did that for the votes, and I was so angry for a while at him. And what he did to my son, he defamed him.
He defamed him. He defamed her, didn't know her son, didn't know the extenuating circumstances, didn't know if he was defending himself or not. Word on the street was he was. And all video to that point showed he was defending himself. He was getting kicked in the head. He was getting whacked with a skateboard. He was being threatened. He shot to save his life. America, baby. God bless America. Where would he be had he been unarmed? He would likely be dead. But he lives to see another day. Gun owners say, this is our mantra. Rather be tried by 12 than carried by 6. All right, keep that in mind, lefties. That's something that makes sense if you think about it. And I don't ask you to think too much. Unless I can use feelings and pictures, I know it's hard to understand. But think about that. Rather be tried by 12 than carried by 6. Now notice that neither Biden nor any of the Democrats did defame the rioters burning, looting, destroying, and harming. None of them were defamed. They were all, they're just out protesting. Oh, and they were maskless. Oh, that's okay. COVID doesn't spread in a riot. They called it a protest. They called it a protest. No, it wasn't a protest. It was freaking riots. It was riots. Who was attacking who? The mob was attacking Kyle Rittenhouse. He wasn't going around looking for people to shoot, as Joy Reid said. I'm telling you, if you're a rioter, you're a looter, you tear down statues, you burn police buildings, you destroy courthouses, you could be any of those things, But if you were representing the other side, trying to keep the peace, trying to clean graffiti off buildings, then you're an evil villain and white supremacist. Funny how that works, isn't it? And here's what Joy Behar. Oh, the Joy Behar! I'd like to shove a sock in her mouth. I'm not a violent guy, but I would love to shove a pair of rolled up socks right in her trap. Here's what she thinks. Everybody cares, wondering, what does Joy Behar think about the Kyle Rittenhouse case? I can't decide until I hear from Joy. Well, here's what she thinks of it.
From what I'm gleaning from this case, the guy goes across state lines with an AR-15 with his mother and some other idiot in the car to defend himself against what? They're having a protest in another
just
state,
a protest.
and he takes it upon himself
Just
to go
a protest.
there. You know, and then he says it's self-defense. No. And that acting job of the crying, I can't even look at it.
Well, this is
that is one of the worst acting jobs I've ever seen.
One of the worst acting jobs I ever seen. He goes in and shoot people who are just protesting.
What a stupid bitch. I'm sorry. I am sorry. I am sorry. Sometimes I have to just get it out. I just have to say what it is. Okay? I apologize. Didn't mean to offend anybody. You want more joyless audio? I've got more for you. I've got more joyless audio. It is the gift that keeps on giving. I'm talking about raging racist Joy Reid, who loves to rage, who loves to use race to divide people, who doesn't like conservatives at all, never has them on her show, never has them on her show. Always have to be leftist. You have to go through that acid test. Are you a leftist? Are you a far left progressive? Then you can be on Joy's show. Because Joy needs somebody who will rage with her, not against her. That's the way she is. Joy Reid is still milking the insurrection. Is that surprising to you? She's still milking the insurrection of January 6th. Now, whether you know it or not, Joy and her leftist panel on Wednesday night said that the insurrection is spreading across the country. Did you know that? So I'm wondering, how many American governments have been overthrown lately? Has Augusta? No, Augusta hasn't. California, New York, Florida? No. I don't know. I can't think of an insurrection, a government overthrow, a coup attempt. I cannot think of one, not January 6th, not ever in the last 2 years. But Joy Reid, she is convinced these insurrections are happening thanks to dirty, mean conservatives.
We begin the readout tonight with a stark warning, on a much more serious note, on a stark warning that the insurrection on our democracy is still alive and sadly thriving. The slow-rolling insurrection is now unfolding in front of our very eyes, and we should all be very concerned. The attacks on our democracy are happening state by state, with Republicans taking steps to allow them to fraudulently claim victory in future elections. Then there's the fear-mongering over issues of race and boogeymen like critical race theory to scare particularly white voters toward the GOP. We saw how that played out in Virginia. We also see Republicans trying to gerrymander their way into far more seats than they deserve based on the demographics and the census results. As of now, it's basically an apartheid democracy in Georgia. They are most likely simply waiting for what they believe will happen because they are engineering for it to happen. That they cannot lose, right? In 2022, they are sort of trying to bioengineer Republican victories.
They don't care about our democracy, the Constitution, the rule of law. Americans, all they care about is themselves, covering for themselves, and this one man sitting in Florida eating cheeseburgers all the time.
Sort of autocracy 101. That the autocrats' party is not subject to the law.
I don't even know what they're talking about.
The laws don't apply to them.
This is so stupid.
And so if you have
this
a
is so
political
idiotic.
party that at this point believes that they can simply steal enough elections, rig enough elections for themselves.
She's talking about
such
herself.
That no one can ever hold them accountable. Then reintroduce the autocrats,
I love
put them in
it.
power,
They're
or whoever else they
projecting.
decide they want to make president.
Projecting.
the orange guy down there.
Oh,
and simply control
love the orange
process.
guy. That would
That
be
means
me.
that we are an insurrectionist society.
We are in the slow-rolling insurgency, and that is a series of insurrections, political actions, battling and taking the fights off of the halls of power, moving them into the states, into the streets through populist movement.
They don't know what they have
political
no
or terrorist action
Terrorists,
to create
they're-
chaos for a government with the intent to
Terrorists.
seize power
Terrorists.
and never give it back.
Terrorist behavior, the parents, those evil parents. I'll tell you who the terrorists are, buddy. Your BLM and your Antifa. There are your terrorists. Shut up about parents and shut up about people who love freedom. The terrorists. What a bunch of losers. They're losers. Yeah, that's my opinion. Yeah, and probably yours too. The left loves these people. They love these people. Oh, they're great. Listen to them speak truth. Really, where are all the insurrections? Where are all the terrorists that you keep talking about night after night after night after night? Oh, and I've got more joy. She loves her role as a racist black woman. She loves calling critical race theory a boogeyman. Every night she calls it a boogeyman. Critical race theory is a boogeyman. It's always a boogeyman. Look out for the boogeyman. Get some new lines, Joy. You're getting tired. You're getting worn out. You're done. Your ratings suck. You suck. And it's just beyond stupid. What you say is beyond stupid, in my humble opinion, and in apparently by your ratings, a lot of other people's opinions as well. I mean, she's got every right to be on TV. I don't deny her that right. I just can't believe anybody listens to her. Maybe they listen just to make fun of her. Maybe that's it. Maybe all of her viewers listen to make fun of her. I can't imagine how anybody with a brain could listen to that trash, listen to those lies, listen to the absurdity of her and her unbelievable leftist panels who that's all she has on. Same thing every night. She continues to push for CRT. She loves pornography in schools. And of course, always, every night, the insurrection ad nauseum. Are you tired of hearing her talk about this stuff night after night? Here she is again with a different leftist guest, asserting the same things she does every single night. Raging racist Joy Reid.
Welcome to the Republican Party of 2021. Our future dystopia is already here. The Republican Party is all aboard when it comes to stoking the anxieties of conservative white suburbanites to maintain control, especially now that Glenn Youngkin rode a wave of fragile feelings to victory in Virginia last week on the boogeyman of critical race theory.
Boogeyman.
And buoyed by a little book banning. Can you imagine, as somebody who wasn't a Republican statewide elected official, coming into office with your platform and your closing argument being, I will ban Toni Morrison books. At that point, don't you then have to follow through, right? You took the Trumpian pill, you got to swallow it now. Right? So how far do you think this winds up going? Youngkin is now tied to this book banning, anti-blackness, anti-history platform. He played games. He played footsie with far right-wing dangerous Trumpism. I mean, there was a treason flag that one of the flags that flew at the Capitol on the insurrection day, flew at one of his rallies. He didn't have a problem with that. He didn't have a problem with having Trump's endorsement. He's getting like credit for supposedly backing for Trump. He never did that. And he, quietly was like, wink, 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 I'm with you. Well, I was going to say it's openly an attack on books that have to do with
Slow
slavery.
down, Joy.
But it's also a very sideswiped attack on the LGBT community, too, because they keep on saying pornography.
Marginalized groups.
Piece of what they want to get rid of.
All those parents worried about pornography in the literature. The kids ain't worried about pornography in literature. You better take your son's phone and take a look at what that bad boy is downloading. You better go to that school dance and see what they're doing out behind the school, baby. Come on now. These parents acting like they weren't teenagers.
Hello. And they don't have their kids' passwords, so even if they got the phone, they couldn't see what's on it because they don't even know what their kids are watching. on the phone. Hello. All right.
First of all, she and her lefty castmate assume they know what's on kids' phones, and they seem to assume their parents don't care to check on them. That's a bit of a stretch, isn't it? It's a parent's right, first of all, to know what is on their kids' phones if they want to, just as it's a parent's right and a governor's obligation to do what's best in the interest of the public. Now, the public seems to have spoken pretty loudly in Virginia when they elected Glenn Youngkin, who said he would ban CRT. So shut your fat, ignorant mouth, Joy, because you're spewing lies. But it's okay. Spew lies. It's all right. Lies are okay. We aren't hurt so much by words. We are allowed to come back and comment on your words, comment against your words, but we aren't going to deny you the right to speak them. Not so with the left. And Cameron makes a good point here, and I posted it right here on the feed. Here's what Cameron said. Here is how you can listen to the left. Just imagine they're talking about themselves, because all the statements then become true. Boom. Absolutely right. That is a great way to put it. Jane says, we wonder why the left doesn't realize what's going on in this country. This is the reason every liberal network have the same narrative day in and day out, and that's all they've got. You're right. That's all they've got. They've got nothing. Their main content, Donald Trump, is no longer there, and they, as a result of it, they are hurting units. Donald Trump was their lifeblood for the last 4 years, as they told, it was all lies, and they knew it was. They had Adam Schiff on just about every day. They had the sleazebag attorney on just about every single day. And they were spewing lies every single day, and they probably knew it. CNN knew they were lying, but they said they were doing it to get Trump out of office. CNN admitted that. And now they don't have Trump, and they're hurting. They're going down the toilet. There's nobody left to watch because there's nothing compelling to watch for, unless you like ad nauseum every night Joy Reid spewing about the insurrection, about CRT, about the Georgia election, about gender theory, because she has nothing. She has nothing else to report on because Biden is doing nothing good. Nothing. So they have no good news to report, only bad news. And they can't report bad news if it's their party that it might hurt. And now it is. So you see oh, by the way, Fox News is still rocking it. And by the way, you got to love this. Guess who's getting beat by Fox News? I think Jimmy Kimmel, I think, is getting beat by Fox News late night. That's great. It is absolutely great to see. Because Fox News is, they have a better show late night than Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon or Stephen Colbert or Trevor Noah have. All right. Just seeing what we've got for time here. Hold on. All right. 10:33. Got to take a break. We'll be right back. I'm John James, and I will have numbers for you to see how bad the major networks are getting beat by cable news coming right up.
WSKW, Legacy 1160.
If you love to shop, whether it's for yourself or for others, you've got to visit Townline Antiques. With new items arriving nearly every day, you never know what treasure you may stumble upon. Whether it's vintage signs, sports memorabilia, jewelry, coins, books, comics, artwork, or classic electronics, you're always sure to find something that tickles your fancy. Plus, there's a lot of great furniture, glassware, and household goods. And their vintage Christmas booth is now fully stocked with many wonderful items. If you're looking for ornaments, lights, stockings, figurines, or any other holiday decor, you've got to stop by to shop this dazzling selection. You'll also find Santas galore with dolls, pictures, ceramics, and more. Or how about a classic Christmas toy, like a teddy bear or a truck? Town Line Antiques is a great place to find that truly one-of-a-kind gift, or treat yourself to a trip through some wonderful memories with a present for yourself. Town Line Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5, Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassalboro Town Line.
Hi, I'm Kyle from Gregory's Disposal. My dad finally let me do my own commercial, so get ready for a whole new sound. Looking for a huge dumpster to tackle that project? At Gregory's, we've got them all. Just give us a call, 465-4500. How about a small dumpster? Yep, we've got those too. They're only a phone call away, 465-4500. We offer any size dumpster from 2 to 50 yards, with pickup when you need it. But if you want to pay more than you should, you'll have to get your dumpsters elsewhere, because at Gregory's, we like smiles, not frowns. That's why we keep our prices way down. Whether it's for a day or a month, we'll be happy to drop off a dumpster and pick it up when you're finished. Or if you need a dumpster all the time, we can do that too. Weekly, monthly, or whatever you need. What project do you have going on? Whether you're a do-it-yourselfer or a professional contractor, give Gregory's a call, 465-4500.
What's important here at Moody's is we have a lot of opportunity for upward mobility.
Moody's definitely helped me through. They sent me to school. I got my degree in business. I had the demeanor and I had the willpower and the want.
Our trade is constantly changing, and there's always new challenges that arise.
I definitely feel like an owner. It's very exciting.
When you like what you do, you like your job, you like the people you work with, what else could you ask for?
Bring your skills to Moody's and build a long-term future with us.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Matt Honig. Heavy rain and strong winds at the coastline will develop this afternoon. Look for temperatures to reach the mid-50s. The worst of the storm system will take place between noon and 8 p.m. this evening. Tomorrow should be much improved with sunshine returning. Temperatures will be in the mid-50s. A quick round of rain and mountain snow moves through Saturday night.
All right, there you go. There's the forecast. There's our buddy Matt Honig. It is 10:37 on Legacy 1160 WSKW. I cannot find the ratings for late night, but I know the late night on Fox. Greg Gutfeld was beating one of them. I don't remember who's on because I don't watch them. I can't watch them. I used to DVR Jay Leno. I used to DVR David Letterman. There is nothing worth watching late night now unless you want a rehash of the day's politics with some lame joke that tries to toe the party line. Just not interesting to me. Not interesting to the audience either, based on the little rumble of laughter. It's almost like forced laughter at these stupid jokes, yet the networks keep them on the air because I don't know why. I really don't know why. I don't know why. They do better with Greg Gutfeld on any of those shows. It's 10:37 now on Legacy 1160 WSKW. And we've got another stupid move here by the Joe Biden administration. Now, Donald Trump had done, while he was in office, I had never heard of this group, Houthis. He had the Houthis in the Middle East. It's like ISIS, I guess. Houthis in the Middle East designated as foreign terrorists, triggering, and when he did that, when he had them designated as terrorists, leftist groups across the country, as well as 22 aid groups operating in Yemen, demanded that the designation be removed, but Trump would not remove it. Houthis. Well, when Biden took office, he removed the designation. Trump put the designation on there, and it made people mad. I'm going to take it off. Everything Donald Trump did, Joe Biden undid. Well, guess what? Houthis has now stormed the American embassy in Sana'a, Yemen, seizing large quantities of equipment and materials. What say, Joe? Pudding! I need tapioca gel! The report comes from PJ Media. which noted, quote, "Isn't it great that America is back and the adults are back in charge? America is back, all right, all the way back to 1979, the last time we had a president so weak that enemies of the United States stormed one of the embassies and took hostages. 1979 is the last time we had a president as weak as Joe Biden, and that was Jimmy Carter, and he wasn't as weak as Joe Biden. So Houthis, who, and I don't know if I'm saying that right, Houthis, who Joe Biden took the designation of terrorists off, have now stormed a U.S. embassy. How about that? Well, that kind of sucks, doesn't it? Storming happened yesterday, was confirmed by the Yemeni media outlet Al Masdar Online. Again, a name I'm not familiar with. The Houthis are backed by Islamic Republic of Iran. And the attack came only days after they kidnapped 3 Yemeni nationals affiliated with the U.S. Embassy. The PJ Media report also said the State Department confirmed the situation, reporting, quote, "The United States has been unceasing in its diplomatic efforts to secure their release. The majority of the detained have been released, but the Houthis continue to detain additional Yemeni employees of the embassy." Thank you, Joe. Thanks again, Joe. We're saying thank you, Joe, every day for something horrible that is happening. So what are the leftists all doing? Oh, the world is great. It's a beautiful place. We've got Joe Biden in office. Ain't he great? Joe Biden doesn't even know he's in office. 1042, climate scare tactics. They're back. We've got the COP26 going on right now. I guess swaggering Barack Obama was supposed to make another speech this morning. I can't wait to hear it. He's all about the climate. You heard him tell people yesterday, you heard him tell people at the COP26 that it has to be an important crisis to him because he's there. To get Barack Obama, it has to be something pretty important. Basically what he said. You got me, so you know it's got to be big. Oh, okay, great one. Okay. Can I wash your feet? May I kiss your feet? Well, listen to this. I had no idea. I'm serious. I had no idea that we had heat anywhere in the world that was as bad as it apparently is. And it's not as far away as you might think. So maybe the climate, there is something to this. Bow tie clad lefty rep Earl Blumenauer said yesterday during a press conference at the UN Climate Summit in Glasgow that due to climate change, the temperature in his Portland, Oregon district, maybe it was hotter in other places, but at least in his Portland, Oregon district, it was pretty freaking hot. And I got to tell you, I had no idea. So how hot did it get in Representative Earl Blumenauer's district this summer? Let's go to the Fear Fest being held right now in Glasgow and see what the lefty had to say. Earl Blumenauer.
To Congressman Blumenauer of Oregon and the Ways and Means Committee.
Thank you, Chair Castro. We are in a race against time. I came here buoyed by the experience I had with Speaker Pelosi in the first select committee. It took on new urgency for me this year with the horrific events. There was one day this summer in Portland where temperatures in the heart of my district hit 180 degrees.
Whoa. Okay, full stop. Portland, Oregon this summer, 100. You hear how serious he said? Portland, Oregon, 180 degrees. I kid you not. Earl Blumenauer, mark it down. He didn't give the date. He said it with a straight, serious face, talking about Nancy Pelosi and the climate is one day and this year and summer in my district where it hit 180 degrees. Mic drop. I'm out of here. I can't do, I cannot do better than that. I cannot exceed the hilarity of that one statement. In fact, I think I'd like to hear it again. Let's hear that. Earl Blumenauer, serious as a heart attack in Glasgow, Scotland this week.
To Congressman Blumenauer of Oregon and the Ways and Means Committee.
Thank you, Chair Castro. We are in a race against time. I came here buoyed by the experience I had with Speaker Pelosi in the first
great speaker
select committee. It took on new urgency for me this year with the horrific events. There was one day this summer in Portland where temperatures in the heart of my district hit 180 degrees.
Degrees. Wow. In Portland. I mean, you would expect it in southern Florida, but Portland, Oregon? Really? Oh, wait a minute. Ouch. You'd think that might have made the news somewhere along the line, wouldn't it? Well, today the highs are going to be... Tonight's going to be in the 60s. Tomorrow, about noontime, we'll see a high about 180. That weather forecast would have caught a few people off guard. So, for reference here, the hottest temperature ever witnessed on the planet, Earth, happened back in 1913. That was before global warming was even a thing. And it was that hot. No, it wasn't that hot. It was 136 in Death Valley, California. 136 in Death Valley, California, back in 1913. Before Al Gore, before Bernie Sanders, before AOC. And it wasn't 180 degrees in Portland this past summer. Later, he clarified it. He meant, I'm not making this up. You heard him. He said, temperature in my district was 180 degrees. He clarified it, though, when he was called out on it. He said, I was talking about the sidewalks. So, he's a lefty. This is mental illness talk. Hello, mental illness wearing a bow tie there in Glasgow. Yeah, it's him, Earl Blumenauer, Oregon, 180 degrees. Woohoo, wacko. He was talking about the sidewalks. So he must have taken a thermometer. Here, open wide. Taken the sidewalk's temperature and said, that 180 in my district. And we've got more climate alarmism for you. Because I want you scared. I want you scared just like the left wants you to be shaking in your boots. They're easy to scare, by the way. The leftists are very easy to frighten. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. AOC, oh, my God, I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning thinking about climate change. Ah! Easy now. Easy now, girlfriend. Going to be okay. This is the same woman who didn't know what the hell a garbage disposal in her sink was. She turned it on. What's that noise? That's a sink drain garbage disposal, AOC, you moron. All right. She tweeted that out. You would think somebody would have the wherewithal to know, well, you know, if I ask what this is on Twitter, it's going to look pretty stupid. Well, consider the source. So did you know CNN? I didn't know this until this morning. I was researching. I had no idea CNN has an actual climate correspondent. Apparently, the CNN alarmist in chief, Communist News Network. So you remember on a Project Veritas piece from, I think it was sometime last year, 2020 probably, the network, the brass, and I think it was the same. No, it was after the election. Maybe it was early this year. They were admitting that they reported in such a way to try to get Donald Trump out of office. They admitted that. They admitted to basically propaganda. They said that, yeah, I'd consider this propaganda. They admitted to propagandizing CNN. So when we call them Pravda, well, that they admitted themselves. They didn't know they were on tape, but they admitted it themselves. We heard it. We also heard them admit that they would be using climate change in order to scare viewers as a means to attract them. They admitted that. So naturally, a climate correspondent's perfect. So anything they say about climate change is nothing more than an attempt to frighten the masses and build an audience. That's just what it is. Now, apparently, this thing is still going on in Glasgow. Today, I think, is the last day. One of the attendees did some theater. This is pure theater, by the way. This is all globalist. This is all globalism, globalist theater. This guy, I don't know his name. I could have found it, but I really didn't care. But he was some kind of a leader. And he is he's doing this speech about nations sinking into the ocean by doing a speech knee-deep in the ocean. The podium and he are standing in the ocean, and he's giving a speech on camera. How juvenile. How very sophomoric can you get? But, as I always say about these lefties, they are nothing more than children. They're children in adult bodies. Their brains aren't fully developed, nor will they ever fully develop. Because, why? Because they think they know everything. And once you think you know everything, you cease to grow. Does that sort of put in perspective? Does that make sense? That's the truth, by the way. Absolute truth. So here's a special report from CNN. That's pretty funny stuff. Pretty funny stuff. Better than Kimmel, Fallon, Colbert, Noah. Get ready because, while it's pretty funny to you and me, they take it pretty seriously at CNN.
Joining me now, CNN Chief Climate Correspondent Bill Weir. He's just back from the COP26 Climate Summit. So, Bill, you spent 6 days at the summit in Glasgow.
Breaking news!
You've been covering climate for years, and I have to say, you wrote the most eloquent and biting reporter's notebook of your takeaways this time. It will be posting on CNN.com very soon. I want to read for everyone.
Can't wait for that.
Just one
CNN.com, check it out.
It's impossible to come to Glasgow and not pinball between hope and cynical despair. At times, it feels like a global Gamblers Anonymous convention held in a casino. But then you see the sustainable light in the eye of an earnest soul as they describe all the things worth saving.
Feels so good.
Tell me more about what you learned. Now,
feelings. It's all about feelings.
You know, it's so messy, Kate. You know, it's sort of a crystallization of human nature in so many ways. Yeah, there are so many activists outside frustrated that they can't get into the hearings, frustrated that it's just a parade of more promises that we have really been hearing from world leaders for the last 5 American presidents. Back in Rio, George H.W. Bush first signed on to the idea that this is an issue and, countries together have to figure it out. That's when Michael Keaton was still Batman. That's and all the only thing that's happened to global climate cooking
Michael
pollution
Keaton,
is it's
good
going
one.
up. So the fear is that COP26 is not going to be any different from COPs 1 through 25.
Fear.
Even though it's so in our faces,
fear.
we have this conga line of billion-dollar disasters
Conga
that are
line
just
of
obviously unnatural disasters.
Wow. Conga line of unnatural disasters. Does this guy know how to speak to feelings or what? A conga line of unnatural disasters. Actually, buddy, climate that's John Kerry, climate correspondent. Actually, disasters are no worse and no more frequent than they have been. They're just more widely covered now that there's a camera on about every square foot of the earth. But the alarmists know that the Kool-Aid drinking sheeple don't know that because they're told only to believe what they hear from their people they worship, like Bernie and AOC and the other false gods. So you're safe there with your climate correspondent. They're going to believe you until the cows come home. And they hope the cows don't come home because cows produce flatulence. Flatulence from cows, bad for the climate. Kill the cows. Save the world. Keep that climate correspondent. By the way, Simon Coffey, I guess. Carol says the foreign minister from the tiny Pacific island nation of Tuvalu, sisters going on the news. Yeah, he was standing knee deep in water in the ocean to make a speech talking about the sinking nations. Obama should have done that speech from Martha's Vineyard. He's serious. Water's too cold, though. He couldn't handle that. Obama couldn't handle the cold water of Martha's Vineyard. We've got 10:56. Coming up, we've got attorney John O'Connor. We're going to be talking about his many cases, including the Deep Throat case during Watergate and the book he wrote with Deep Throat himself. And we're also going to be talking about how Alec Baldwin could be in big trouble from this shooting on the set of Rust. Straight ahead, I'm John James. Go.
Legacy 1160 WSKW.
There are 2 types of people in the winter, those that put off their heavy work until the spring, and those who visited Whittemore & Sons for a Coyote tractor, so they can get nearly any job done no matter the weather. Coyote tractors are some of the toughest, most powerful, fuel-efficient, technologically advanced tractors ever built. Move that big pile of snow, transport that wood, and take care of all of your other heavy-duty winter jobs in no time with a Coyote tractor. Check out our full line of tough and versatile Coyote compact tractors, attachments, implements, and accessories at Whittemore & Sons, with dependable sales and service for over 50 years. Speaking of service, don't forget our service department is always ready to get you back in business. You never know when something may go wrong, but no matter when it does, Whittemore & Sons is ready to help. If you have questions or want to schedule a pickup, just call 474-2591. Run ahead of the pack with a Coyote tractor from Whittemore & Sons on the Waterville Road in Skowhegan. Sales and service by a family who cares.
Your trail to adventure begins at Moosehead Trading Post. Hunting season is here, and every aisle is packed with all the hunting accessories you need. Head to Moosehead Trading Post for apparel that'll keep you warm and visible. Grab some deer scents and cover scents to help you stay undetected. Or get a jump on ice fishing season with ice augers and jet sleds. But hurry in because these won't last long. And as always, over 500 new and used firearms in stock. Buy, sell, trade, or pawn at Moosehead Trading Post, 428 Oxbow Road in Palmyra.
Hi, this is Teresa Smith, Assistant Dean of Enrollment at Kennebec Valley Community College. After nearly 30 years at the college, rarely a day goes by that I don't run into someone who tells me they graduated from KVCC or that their son, daughter, wife, or cousin went to KVCC. What a privilege it is for me to work somewhere that has such a positive impact. KVCC offers the training people need to enter high-demand, high-paying jobs while keeping the cost of education low. Whether you want to earn a degree or just need short-term training to learn a new skill, KVCC's got you covered. Our spring semester starts on January 10th, and I would really love it if you were the next person to say to me, "Hey, don't you work at KVCC?" Please check us out online at kvcc.me.edu or call 453-5822. That's 453-KVCC.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Matt Honig. Heavy rain and strong winds at the coastline will develop this afternoon. Look for temperatures to reach the mid-50s. The worst of the storm system will take place between noon and 8 p.m. this evening. Tomorrow should be much improved with sunshine returning. Temperatures will be in the mid-50s. A quick round of rain and mountain snow moves through Saturday night.
From the Home Auto Group Studios, Farmington Ford and Franklin Chrysler in Farmington. This is WSKW, Skowhegan, Augusta, Waterville, Legacy 1160. Legacy 1160, WSKW.
I know you've heard the old adage, buy low and then sell high. Well, with real estate prices rising in the market every day, if you've been thinking of selling your home, now is the time to list your property with Pouliot Real Estate to capitalize on it. While the market may be growing, Matt and the team at Pouliot Real Estate are never too busy to help. In fact, before you go and pay for an appraisal to find the value of your home, Pouliot Real Estate will happily give you an estimate for free. Yeah, I said free. Low interest rates have created an active buying market, which is great for sellers. And there are lots of people selling their homes for a number of reasons. They're empty nesters looking to cash in on the equity that they've built, folks looking to downsize their home to increase their cash, and growing families that simply need something bigger. There's absolutely no obligation, so why not strike while the iron is hot? Contact Pouliot Real Estate for a free home valuation at PouliotRealEstate.com. That's PouliotRealEstate.com. And when you see Matt Pouliot, you tell him Mike Violette sent you.
Legacy 1160, WSKW.
ABC News, I'm Jim Ryan. Vice President Kamala Harris in France was asked about the U.S. inflation levels hitting 30-year highs.
We need to bring costs down for the American people, and in particular for working people and working families.
President Biden today holds a cabinet meeting ahead of next week's signing of the $1 trillion infrastructure bill intended to improve roads, bridges, and public transportation. The State Department says it's arranged departures from Afghanistan for all Americans who want to leave. Not all of them have left yet. Colorado and California are going beyond CDC guidelines, recommending COVID-19 vaccine boosters for all adults. Proceedings are underway in the sixth day of the murder trial of 3 white men in Georgia charged with killing Ahmaud Arbery, an unarmed black man, last February. And closing arguments are set for Monday in the Kenosha, Wisconsin murder trial of Kyle Rittenhouse. He says he was acting in self-defense when he killed 2 people during protests last year. Prosecutors say he came looking for trouble. This is ABC News. U.S. Senator Lisa Murkowski says she is going to run for re-election. The Alaska lawmaker is one of 7 Republicans who voted for former President Donald Trump's second impeachment. She's the only one of them to launch a re-election bid. And Republican Jack Ciattarelli is expected to concede defeat today in the New Jersey governor's race. ABC News and other outlets are declaring incumbent Democrat Phil Murphy the winner a day after the election, following the unexpectedly tight contest. Pop superstar Britney Spears may get some good news soon. Details from ABC's Jason Nathanson.
The financial, medical, and decision-making parts of Britney Spears' life have been under the control of a conservatorship for more than 13 years, but a judge today may rule to end it. Spears has been pushing to terminate the arrangement since June, when she angrily accused her father of abusing her through the control he had of the conservatorship, and she said everyone involved should be in jail. Judge Brenda Penny is expected today to make a decision about whether or not the conservatorship should continue.
That's ABC's Jason Nathanson. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Trade Pros. Ferguson is committed to making business with us the easiest part of your day. Ferguson.com is designed to help run your business from the office to the job site by making your day-to-day activities easier with 24/7 account access, unmatched online inventory, and on-the-go account management. And with our Pro Plus customer loyalty program, you can earn points with every online purchase, redeemable for merchandise, event tickets, trips, and more. Sign up today at Ferguson.com.
Hammering headaches? Ow. Aching muscles?
Put the squeeze on your tough pain with Goody's Cool Orange. The same fast-acting, powerful Goody's powder in a great-tasting cool orange flavor. Beat tough pain to a pulp with Goody's Cool Orange. Also, blast your pain away with Goody's Mixed Fruit Blast. 2 flavors, tough on pain, tasty on your tongue. We made Goody's fast, Goody's delicious. All available at Dollar General.
All right, welcome back to Freedom's Pep Rally. In the process of trying to get in touch with John O'Connor, 3 numbers, no luck. So that's the most numbers I think I've ever called. Okay, so every once in a while, you know, we do things right in time. Because that's how we roll. That's how we have to roll here. We get to the top of the hour, we make the call, and every once in a while, it doesn't work out the way we'd like it to. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, we'll get John O'Connor on the phone here. He is the attorney. He was the attorney for Deep Throat back during Watergate, and also he is going to be talking with us, should we get him on the line, about Alec Baldwin and what he could be liable for. I had questions I was so excited to ask that I've just been wondering about Alec Baldwin's responsibility in this whole thing, because I think his responsibility is quite great. Now, I don't believe he did it intentionally. In fact, I almost guarantee you can never 100% guarantee anything. So I'm about 99.9% sure he didn't do it intentionally. But he's still responsible in some way. He's got to be, because he was the last guy with the gun. So I hope we're going to be able to get him on the phone here this hour. Because as I say, I was really excited to ask him some questions. We've got 11:07 right now on Legacy 1160 WSKW, and we certainly have plenty of stuff we can talk about in the meantime here. There was a story in the Gateway Pundit about the Department of Homeland Security preparing to release a new anti-terror bulletin warning that domestic extremists, you know who they are. They're not BLM. Nope. They are not Antifa. Nope. Nope. They are white supremacist conservatives. They are patriots. They are American freedom-loving people. They are we have been reclassified in this day and age of tyranny, leftism, progressivism, Marxism, communism, whatever you want to call it. We've been reclassified as domestic terrorists. Extremists have called for attacks on elected officials, political representatives, government facilities, law enforcement, religious communities, commercial facilities, and perceived ideological opponents, said the bulletin, according to NBC News, led by one lying propagandist, Chuck Todd. The bulletin claims extremists may be angered if the new COVID vaccine mandates are imposed, or if any new COVID vaccine mandates are imposed. So that's I guess that's it. That's the tipping point. And maybe it will be. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe they ought to think about that. Maybe they should think about that a little bit. Think about what that says. Do the American people not have a constitutional right to fight a government that is trying to take them over? I think we do. You know what? I actually think we do. I think that's written into the Constitution. Now, the tyrannical government doesn't understand they're tyrannical. They don't, and neither do many on the left. Probably most on the left. They don't understand tyranny when they see it. They don't know what that word means. Hey, they thought Donald Trump was tyrannical. Donald Trump, America first, Donald Trump. They thought he was tyrannical. So that shows you and me that they have no idea the meaning of the word, because they're already as smart as they can get. They cannot get any smarter than they already are. Therefore, their minds will never grow and flourish. They will never understand common sense. That's why we have to step in. So, according to NBC News, the new National Terrorism Advisory System Bulletin is expected to be released, or should have been released, actually, this week, according to officials familiar with it. It replaces an existing bulletin published in August, which said that ethnically motivated violent extremists and anti-government, anti-authority violent extremists will remain a national threat priority for the United States. All right, so how has that gone? That was their last threshold. It was going to be anti-government, anti-authority, the racist extreme. All right, where's the racist extremists? Who is the anti-authority? Again, they're projecting. The anti-authority, defund the police movement is all them. But again, it's common sense to realize it, so of course they don't. What Corey said earlier, or somebody said earlier, is when a leftist speaks, pretend they're talking about themselves, and it'll all make sense. It'll make perfect sense. Pretend when they talk, pretend they're talking about their own type. Then it makes perfect sense, because just about 100% of the time, they are projecting. What they actually are, they see in everybody they oppose. Makes sense, doesn't it? You think about it that way, it does make sense. It's a mental illness. I'm convinced of that. Now, the new document includes a lot of the same language, according to a senior official who has read it, but it speaks to some new developments, including the exploitation of the American withdrawal from Afghanistan by both foreign terrorists and domestic racists. Because, you know, those conservatives, they're all racists. They're all white supremacists. Again, pretend they're talking about themselves. Then it'll make perfect sense. When they talk about racists and white supremacists, they are talking about the left. Boom, it bounces back. They're talking to a mirror. I like that analogy. I truly do. Now, in general, the bulletin continues. Threats include those posed by individuals and small groups engaged in violence, including domestic violent extremists and those inspired or motivated by foreign terrorists and other malign foreign influences. Well, that sounds to me like the Squad. That sounds to me like Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib. Inspired by foreign terrorists. That's what, again, projecting, right? Tell me what conservatives are inspired by foreign terrorists. No, the Squad is. The Squad certainly is. Ilhan Omar certainly is. Rashida Tlaib certainly is. They hate Israel. They hate the Jews. They love Hamas. Who's inspired? They are. Again, projection 101. Okay, this goes on. The ongoing pandemic continues to be a spark for violent rhetoric. DHS found, especially by those angered by mask and vaccine mandates and restrictions on normal activity. Well, that's where the Constitution comes in. That's where government tyranny is prescribed a solution. And it is a revolt by the citizenry. That is in our Constitution, in our law. But of course, they do not recognize the Constitution, so that is nil. That is a moot point when it comes to dealing with them. Foreign intelligence services, foreign terrorist organizations, and domestic violent extremists, quote, continue to introduce, amplify, and disseminate narratives online calling for violence. Now, the proof is in the pudding. What is the pudding? Well, where's the violence coming from? It's January 6th. Just shut up about January 6th is, it's a non-entity. At this point, it's a non-entity. It was nothing. It was nothing. Forget about it. You're milking it and milking it and milking it, and it's dead. It is gone. It had nothing to do with an insurrection. It was not a takeover attempt. It was not a coup attempt. It was not any of that. Joy Reid can't shut her fat mouth about it. She's an idiot. It was not an insurrection. You know what an insurrection was? All those Black Lives Matter and Antifa thugs last summer. There's your insurrection. They literally took over the government of part of Seattle when they occupied it, Antifa. And they were mostly white people. BLM and the Antifa protests, there were many white virtue-signaling whiteys out there. Yeah, we want solidarity. Shut up. We had a great American, a black woman on yesterday. And when I asked her, she's an educator, 70 years old. God bless her, Vermel. And when I asked her, what is meant when all these white professors and white intellectuals say math is racist? What does that mean? She started laughing, as any objective person would. This is literally getting out of control. So now they're trying to come up with reasons to target people who are standing up for rights in the face of mandatory vaccines, mandatory masks. Who knows if there are going to be more lockdowns? Mandatory. Government-imposed mandatory edicts are tyrannical, period. I don't care if you think everybody should be vaccinated. Not your call. My body, my choice. Remember? That's a war cry of the left. My body, my choice. Only when they use that war cry, it really isn't. Again, total hypocrisy. Their my body, my choice actually affects two bodies. One is a baby. One is the woman. Science. In August, DHS released a bulletin warning of an increasing but modest threat of violence related to online conspiracy theory that Trump would be reinstated. All right. Whatever happened? There were Trump rallies. People were all out there excited. They were screaming. The crowds are 10 times bigger than Joe Biden could get as candidate or president. Everybody was in good spirits. Everybody was happy. Everybody was upbeat. Everybody enjoying the freedom and the sunshine without masks, without worry, out there celebrating the former president who was anything but tyrannical, who was totally pro-America, pro-freedom. Nothing ever came of it because they focus on the wrong things. This DHS, this DOJ focuses all their attention on people who aren't going to do harm. I'm not saying never. You push a people hard enough, long enough, something's going to happen. Something will happen. I guarantee it. Something will happen. Our free people will not have their freedom and their rights stripped from them. Will not happen. Not my generation. I guarantee you that. Not going down without a fight. Now, maybe some of the millennials and younger, not all of them, but maybe some of them you can get to suck up and come out swinging their little fists. They'll have to throw down their peace, not war signs first. But yeah, there could be a bit of an uprising. You keep pushing. You keep pushing. Yeah, you're going to have a fight on your hands. You're going to have a hell of a fight on your hands. Not from extremists, from American patriots. Check your terminology. 11:20 right now on Legacy 1160 WSKW. Okay, I was wondering if we did the Obama gaffes yesterday. We did. Yeah, he just big time looked like an idiot at the COP26. Not surprising. Stephanie Rule. Now here you go. Here's more proof that MSNBC is probably the most dangerous network on TV. And it's because they lie. Well, CNN lies too. CNN, they're pretty neck and neck. But MSNBC is just, they're just deplorable. They're the most racist. They are the most, they have the most smug, cocky, well, one less smug, cocky liar because Brian Williams is leaving. Did you know that? Brian Williams is leaving? Did we do that story? If not, we'll get to that. So Stephanie Rule is one of the ones on the Today Show. You see her on the Today Show a lot. When she's not hosting her own show, she doubles as the network's senior business correspondent. And it was in that role that she lamented to MTP Daily host, that's Meet the Press Daily host, Chuck Todd, that the Biden administration is not telling their supposedly great economic story. So there's Chuck Todd, who says...
And just a reminder, for what it's worth, there is no editorial point of view here on any of these newscasts on MSNBC in the daytime.
No, Chuck, actually, there is no news on any of these MSNBC shows during the day. There is no news. There is plenty of opinion. You're a liar. There's plenty of opinion. There is no news. So Stephanie Rule is there with Chuck Todd. Both are regulars on the Today Show, where they pretend not to be partisan hacks. But here they are pumping up the Biden administration and the economy. And they're trying to theorize, what can they do? What can the Biden administration, they're trying to help them out here. What can the Biden administration do to make things a little bit better for them? Because they have such a great economic story. There's a video that goes along with this. Check it out, MSNBC.
So bottom line is, this is something that this has got to just work itself out. And, you know, the Democrats are the ones in charge, so they're going to pay the price of this sort of short-term economic frustration.
And it's unfortunate, but the Democrats don't do a great job telling their economic story. Yes, this inflation number is not a good one, but they've got a great economic story to tell, right? 5 million jobs created, 200 million people vaccinated. Those vaccine numbers tie directly to the economy. You couldn't open the economy without getting America healthy again. We are seeing economic recovery. What the Biden administration isn't doing is selling that, and they can.
Oh, They've got a great economic story. They can sell it. They can sell cheerleaders for Biden. MSNBC, Chuck Todd and Stephanie Rule. Can you be a bigger cheerleader for the administration than that? I think not. They have such a great economic story. You know, wait until the deadlines for the vaccine mandates kick in. Then tell us about that great economic story, Steffi. Tell us about it then. It's 11:24 right now. We got to take a break. I'll be right back. John James here, Freedom's Pep Rally.
If you love to shop, whether it's for yourself or for others, you've got to visit Town Line Antiques. Because with new items arriving nearly every day, you never know what treasure you may stumble upon. Whether it's vintage signs, sports memorabilia, jewelry, coins, books, comics, artwork, or classic electronics, you're always sure to find something that tickles your fancy. Plus, there's lots of great furniture, glassware, and household goods. And their vintage Christmas booth is now fully stocked with so many wonderful items. If you're looking for ornaments, lights, stockings, figurines, or any other holiday decor, you've got to stop by to shop this dazzling selection. You'll also find Santas galore with dolls, pictures, ceramics, and more. Or how about a classic Christmas toy like a teddy bear or a truck? Town Line Antiques is a great place to find that truly one-of-a-kind gift. Or treat yourself to a trip through some wonderful memories with a present for yourself. Town Line Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5. Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassalboro Town Line.
You've probably seen them on the road, helping those that need them. And you can rest assured Delta Ambulance will be there when you need them most, too. Delta Ambulance prides themselves on having a team that utilizes superior training, years of experience, and state-of-the-art medical technologies. So if you need safe transportation for routine or critical care transfers, Delta Ambulance is standing by. Learn more about the difference Delta makes at deltaambulance.org. Compassion, leadership, excellence. That's Delta Ambulance.
A fair price on a used vehicle from a dealer who's exceptional and moral. That's exactly what you'll get at Shelley's Used Cars LLC in Fairfield. Shelley and Anthony Rudnicki are straight shooters, and they'll always do what's right by their friends and neighbors. And if you don't know them personally, you're just a friend they haven't met. And if you're looking for a good used vehicle, you might consider stopping by and saying hi. You can pay weekly with reasonable payments, and of course, they always take cash. Since 2013, Shelley's Used Cars, Norridge Walk Road, Fairfield. Like them on Facebook. Caring Hands Home Care LLC has immediate openings statewide. Personal support specialists assist our clients in their homes with their activities of daily life, like assistance with personal care, meal prep, and light housekeeping. Candidates need reliable transportation, a valid driver's license, and current vehicle insurance. Caring Hands prefers PSS with certification and experience. However, we provide training for new hires through orientation, job shadowing, and the PSS course. Call 742-0002 or go to caringhandsme.com.
What's important here at Moody's is we have a lot of opportunity for upward mobility.
Moody's definitely helped me through. They sent me to school. I got my degree in business. I had the demeanor and I had the willpower and the want.
Our trade is constantly changing and there's always new challenges that arise.
I definitely feel like an owner. It's very exciting.
When you like what you do, you like your job, you like the people you work with, what else could you ask for?
Bring your skills to Moody's and build a long-term future with us.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Matt Honig. Heavy rain and strong winds at the coastline will develop this afternoon. Look for temperatures to reach the mid-50s. The worst of the storm system will take place between noon and 8 p.m. this evening. Tomorrow should be much improved with sunshine returning. Temperatures will be in the mid-50s. A quick round of rain and mountain snow moves through Saturday night.
Well, good morning to you. John James here on Freedom's Pep Rally. Still trying to get John O'Connor. I actually left him a voicemail this time. It's one of those things where the voicemail, you have prompts to go directly to somebody, and I hadn't listened to the whole thing before because I didn't have time during my break. So hopefully we'll get Attorney John O'Connor on this hour. If not, hopefully we'll get him on maybe again sometime, maybe next week, maybe some other time. Maybe he'll call back this hour, and if he does, we will get him right on and talk with him about his cases, including what he thinks And if he's involved in this Alec Baldwin case, he is a very high-profile guy, so he may be in some way. So we'll just have to wait and see. And again, hopefully he will. Hopefully he'll get back to us here on Legacy 1160 WSKW. Bear with me for just a second here. Free speech. Let's talk a little bit about free speech and the government. If given a choice, listen to this. If given a choice between allowing offensive or inaccurate speech and government censorship, in an overwhelming poll, a majority of voters say free speech, according to an article at WND.com. Now they think, we're going to get rid of hate speech. Speech lies. We're going to stop that's what YouTube and Instagram and Twitter and Facebook do. They censor anything that is the least bit out of lockstep with what the WHO or anybody else says. Right? I mean, how many times have you been put in jail, Facebook jail, for saying something that doesn't align with their standards when it comes to quoting inaccurate things? And by the way, there is so much inaccurate stuff on Facebook and Twitter, it's unbelievable. But as long as it seems to go with a certain narrative, it doesn't get blocked. Even some of the terrorist organizations have Twitter accounts. And they terrorize. But if you say something that doesn't align with Dr. Fauci or the CDC, you're out. Majority of Americans say, no, they'd rather have, people be able to say inaccurate or offensive things and, let things take care of themselves. If you think something's inaccurate, then this is how we grow mentally. The left doesn't want to grow mentally, and social media doesn't want to help them grow mentally. So rather than let people look at something and question it and say, I wonder if that's true, and then research it and learn, they just take it down. They take it down before you can research it. And by the way, many of the things that have been posted that have been taken down as false, as misinformation, are in fact true. But they didn't want people to be able to research it. Why is that? Why is that? Not in a free country. That's not how that works. And a majority of Americans apparently don't think it should work that way. But this is what the left tries to do. The left doesn't like to be silenced. Whatever happened to do unto others as you would have them do unto you? I don't care if you are on the godless left. That's a good moral value. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Now, you would not have your free speech stifled. No, don't stymie our free speech, but it's okay to do that to the right? How does that work? A national survey by Scott Rasmussen found that 80% of voters would prefer free speech. Only 9% want the government to determine what free speech should be allowed. Those 9% are called communists. Those are called Marxists. Those are called Democrat socialists. Ooh, is he talking about Bernie Sanders and the squad? Well, as a matter of fact, if it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, right? Okay. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. The free speech option is supported by at least 70% of every measured demographic group. Well, of course it is. You're always going to have a number of communist, Marxist people who don't want free speech. You're always going to have that group of people. And they are the ones that want government care from cradle to grave, tell us what to do, where to go, what to eat, how to think. Pay for our medical expenses, our education, give us a guaranteed basic income, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, there's always going to be an element of that in our society. But that's a pretty good number there. 70% of all demographic groups are in favor of free speech over government-controlled speech. A previous survey found 49% of voters were more worried about restricting free speech than the spread of fake news information. Rasmussen did note that hesitation about granting government the power to determine what speech is allowed is deeply ingrained in American culture. And I suspect it's many of the younger set that is okay with the government controlling what is said because it's all about feelings. Oh, you can't say anything hateful. You can't say anything untrue because it'll make me cry. Boo-hoo. Put on your big boy pants, put on your big girl pants, and suck it up, buttercup. Or find a country where they don't allow nasty talk coming from anybody but the government. They'll always have the ability to do whatever they want because they're the power class. The power class can do whatever they want. When we're all driving around in Priuses and Chevy Volts, they'll be driving around in SUV gas guzzlers and flying their jet planes around the world. It's just the peasants, the rest of society, the underlings, the serfs. It is only we who won't be able to enjoy the fruits of our labor. The bounty that America offers, the freedom that we have now. We just will not have that. And that goes hand in hand with what they're trying to do. When you give other people free stuff, you have to take away someone else's freedom. When you say that we're going to limit free speech to only things that are truthful in our eyes and only things that aren't hate speech in our opinion, you are taking away someone's freedom. Leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Is that a warning? Well, I guess you could take it as that. I mean, the Constitution's pretty clear. That's all I'm going to say about that. There are remedies. The Founding Fathers knew that there were going to be times in our history. Foresight was amazing. There are going to be times when government became too cocky, too arrogant, too eager to take away the freedoms that the Constitution guaranteed. That's why in that Constitution, they built in remedies for us to solve our problems. And probably the last one that we'd ever want to take is something that is given to us because the Founding Fathers knew this could happen, and that is our right. I'm just saying it's a right. This is not a threat. I'm only saying it's a right. It's our right as citizens to take it upon our own volition to take out the tyrannical government. And if you can't do it by votes, I can't think of too many other options. Can you? Maybe I'm missing out on some. Can you think of many other options? But the Constitution doesn't say, if voting doesn't work, you're screwed. Constitution doesn't say that, does it? Second Amendment guarantees the right to bear arms in a free society when government gets out of hand. That's why they want to take our rights away. I think we've got our attorney on the phone here. It looks like So let's go right to him. And I finished up. I finished up with that story. So that's terrific. And John O'Connor, is that you, sir?
It is. Sorry, I was on another line.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I thought it was maybe I was getting a wrong number or something. But then I finally left you a voicemail. How are you, sir?
Very good. Very good.
I've been excited to talk with you. If for no other reason, and there are plenty of other reasons, by the way. Welcome to Freedom's Pep Rally, by the way.
I love it. I'm having trouble hearing you. I was good before. If you get closer to the microphone, it'd be great.
Yeah, okay. I'm trying to balance things out here. Is that a little bit better?
I can hear you. It's a little faint. The main thing is, can you hear me?
Yeah. You're booming in here, sir. You're sounding great.
Great. Okay.
Now you were an attorney back during Watergate, weren't you? Deep Throat comes to mind.
Well, I wasn't his attorney back then. I was a federal prosecutor back during Watergate, and then later became Deep Throat's attorney. I always knew who Deep Throat was. And lo and behold, I ended up running into him through his grandson in 2002 and became his attorney until his death 6 years later. So I was his attorney for 6 years and wrote a couple books with him. And we wrote the Vanity Fair article that announced his identity. Wow. So I have very good memories of my work with Mark Felt, and I know all about his career. He was quite a guy.
Now, one of the books that I've been looking at is A G-Man's Life, and that sounds like a great read, and I'm going to read it. And you wrote it. You wrote it with Mark Felt, correct?
Well, yes. What I did was I took some of his old writings that I had, and I edited them, and then I wrote maybe 100 new pages so that the reader would understand what his prior, the significance of his prior writings, in which he was sort of not revealing he was Deep Throat. And so I showed that basically Watergate was all about the FBI not trying to be corrupted, which is sort of ironic because today, and not be politically corrupted and not politically favor one side over the other, and he was afraid that was happening during Watergate. Now today, fast forward to today, and now we have an FBI in Hillary Clinton's case that was all too willing to put its thumb on the scales.
Absolutely. Yeah, you had James Comey. Now you've got Christopher Wray. Now you've got the Department of Justice completely and totally working for the Biden administration and against parents, it seems, and looking for domestic terrorists where they don't exist. Is that the FBI's job, John O'Connor?
Well, it is if you consider a parent a domestic terrorist. That's the problem. And what I pointed out was domestic terrorism is someone who tries to influence a government's actions through force and intimidation. And the person that is doing that are not these parents, but it's Merrick Garland himself. He's trying to force governmental action by intimidating parents. He's actually acting as a domestic terrorist, if you want to know the truth. Now, I'm not suggesting he gets indicted for that. He'd have to indict himself. But he's actually doing what you're not supposed to do, which is try to change government policy through threats of intimidation and so forth, and coercion. And that's what he's doing. He's way off base. And when people talked about, everything's going to be normal under Joe Biden, I'm not so sure that everybody likes what this normality is. He did not get a mandate to be a progressive. He got a mandate to be normal. That's all. He got a mandate to really, you have to read the election, is to carry out Trump's policies without Trump's personality. But nobody has figured that out yet in the Biden administration.
Yeah, sadly, no. That's the truth. And Donald Trump and Barack Obama and George W. Bush's former doctor, has now come out and said, and apparently he was scolded by Barack Obama for suggesting that Joe Biden is he's not capable of handling the job, and he should have some sort of a cognitive test. And they refuse to answer to that. They refuse to go there for some reason. What do you suppose that is?
Well, that's a good question. I think nobody wants to know the answer, really, because it creates so much, I don't know, consternation, I would say. Nobody wants to have to face that. I mean, and I can see why, because when you're in a cognitive decline like Biden is, there are various degrees of it. And probably you and I have some degree of dementia. Everybody over 40 has some plaque in their hippocampus.
Right.
And so our memories aren't quite as sharp as they were when we were 5 years old and had these supple brains. And we're like sponges. So everybody has some degree of it. The problem is, when do you say it's so bad that you no longer have a capacity? And it's a fine line there. It's a gradient, I would say. It's not a fine line, but a gradient. And,
right.
And so there would be a lot of dispute about it, and it would cause, just raising the issue would cause people to even be more worried about our government, have less faith, and it probably would be an invitation for China to do something. So we're in a mess here. We elected somebody. Presumably, we elected somebody. That's another issue. But presumably, we elected somebody who everyone knew was in cognitive decline. The media chose to ignore it, and now here we have this issue. Now we have a president that's really, even back when he was with Obama, Obama said he was afraid that Biden would F things up.
He did. Yes, he did.
That's proving true.
John O'Connor's our guest, an attorney, a well-renowned attorney, and one of the reasons you're here today, I think we're going to be talking a little bit, and this interests me so much, the Alec Baldwin mishap on the set of Rust. You have looked at this in depth, have you not?
I'm sorry, I lost you there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're one of the things we're going to talk about is Alec Baldwin on the set of Rust and what happened there among the crew. Correct, with the horrible shooting that occurred.
Well, that's right. And what happens is, I think if you want to summarize this in a thumbnail, I would say that the production company did not spend enough money on safety. They were very lax in their safety. I think everyone's trying to cut corners for these made-for-television dramas. And now we see this wild stuff happening on set. The whole cast was ready to walk out because of safety concerns before this bullet thing. It wasn't just the bullets. It's all kinds of lack of concern about safety. It's a terrible thing that happened, but it just shows you that these things can be really, really tragic. When you're doing all these stunts, you're using weapons. It's just a shame. I mean, they were out there using the prop guns to go out into the desert and shoot live rounds.
Right.
Well, that's a recipe for disaster, and the disaster eventuated.
Now, do you are you an attorney? Are you acting as an attorney for anyone affiliated with the movie?
Say that again.
Are you acting as an attorney for anybody affiliated with a movie at this point?
No, I am not. No, I would not want to.
Right. Okay.
In this case, I think the insurance company is going to pay out a lot of money. That's what I think.
Yeah. Okay, here's a question. I've been dying to ask an attorney this, especially one interested in this case, which you certainly are. Should not, now there were a lot of hands on this gun. There were at least 3 sets, maybe 4 sets of hands, including, a very young armorer who had made a mistake before by handing a 12-year-old an unchecked gun. Nothing bad happened in that particular case. But shouldn't the final guilt lie with the last person to hold the gun? That is, should Alec Baldwin not have some, culpability in this?
Well, I don't think he has any as an actor. Where his real culpability is, because an actor is not supposed to check things like that, because he doesn't think it's a live gun. I mean, if it's a live gun, if you're out in a hunting party, sure, you're going to use all kinds of gun safety and see what rounds or where they are in there and so forth, and not point it at anybody. A cardinal rule: you don't point a gun at anybody.
Right.
But I don't blame him. Because after all, people point guns at people all the time on movie sets. Where I blame him is he was a producer. He got the lion's share of the money here and was named a producer. Well, when you're named a producer, with that comes responsibility to make sure this thing is financed correctly. And the word is he took so much money. The other producers needed a big name star, so Baldwin insisted on a lot of money. It really strapped the whole operation. And so Baldwin's real problem comes from being named a producer, because technically he should be seeing to it that the budget's better than it was, and that the armor, as they call it, the armor was capable, that there were adequate safety precautions. That's where I think they're going to get him. Again, I don't think he's going to be charged with manslaughter or anything like that. I don't think it's warranted here. I don't think he was negligent as an actor. This is not a regular weapon and a regular gun situation where he would be negligent. So I feel for him as an actor, and as the person who did this, I kind of feel sorry for him. I'm not a particularly big fan of Alec Baldwin, but I feel bad for him in this situation. But I feel worse for the family of the deceased, and they'll get their money as they should, but that's a little consolation. It really is.
Absolutely. Now, as somebody, I'm a gun enthusiast. I like to shoot guns. I enjoy them. And even if I'm working on a movie, John, by the way, we're talking with John O'Connor, a famed attorney, who actually was the attorney for former Deep Throat, during the Nixon administration, during Watergate. And, you've had a lot of other notable clients too, and I hope we get to talk about a few of those. But as a gun enthusiast, I can't imagine, even if I'm on a movie set, being given a gun, even after having been told by 2 or 3 people it's a cold gun. I can't imagine feeling comfortable pointing at anybody and pulling the trigger without first safety checking it, if I am trained in gun safety. Now, we know that Alec Baldwin hates guns, and he probably never has taken a gun safety course. He's relied on his armorer and others on sets to tell him if a gun is cold. That's why I wonder why he wouldn't have some culpability. But you're the expert, so. I
think it's such a different situation if my grandson were to give me his toy gun, I'm not going to check it.
Right.
And I think, well, this is a toy.
Right.
And in essence, Alex Baldwin thought it would be a toy. And the other thing about it is, I'm not even sure he knows enough to look at the rounds in there. I think one of them would have a red dot. You have a red dot if it's I think the way it works on set, the red dot means that it's a blank. But I don't know if it's one or the other, but
right.
Should he check that? I mean, who would have ever thought that there'd be a live round in there?
Right.
Now, let me just pose one other thing. Let's assume that Alec Baldwin knew that these people have been using the very same weapon for target practice out in the desert. Now, that may be a horse of a different color.
Right.
Maybe you can say, well, knowing that there was all this use of these guns with live ammo, now you might want to say, well, now that you know that, then you should have checked.
Yeah.
But on a normal movie set, I don't think you'll find 1 in 1,000 actors who will check the rounds. It's just not done. It's not considered standard practice. All negligence cases are about what's normal and reasonable and what's the standard practice.
Right.
So, you can sue a doctor if he goes beyond standard practice. But if what he did was what doctors normally do, well, he's not guilty of malpractice, even if he loses a patient. So that's the same way here. I don't think you can get him as an actor.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. I never had it explained that way. Thank you for that, John. I appreciate that.
Sure.
Now, some of your other clients, as we, I'm watching the clock here now, and I really appreciate your getting back to me. I know we were late because it was, I had a short window to get through one of the numbers, and I didn't leave a message the first time. So thank you so much for taking the time to call back.
Sure.
Now, some of the cases you've worked. I mean, you worked with Patty Hearst in the Patty Hearst case, right? I mean, you were part of that,
right? Well, yeah, I wrote the brainwashing briefs for the all the state of mind, as we called it, the state of mind briefs. And I also wrote the Fifth Amendment brief, and I also was a handler for the psychiatrist that examined Patty Hearst in the jail. So I went to the jail with the psychiatrist to examine her. So I was just a young guy, and I had a small role, but it turns out to have been pretty important, just sort of by accident, by chance of fate, that I got to do that. It was very exciting. That's a very interesting chapter in our country's history, because there were so many parents who had the same situation. What happened to my daughter or son? Why are they joining this wild dissident group? Most of them were not violent, but there was a real split in our culture back then. And so that case was really fascinating for that very reason.
Wow. Amazing. And during the SNL crisis back in the 80s, you represented, if I'm not mistaken, the FDIC, the FSLC, and that was a pretty notable time too.
Right. Well, I shut down a lot of banks and savings and loans. I seized a couple of Charles Keating's hotels in Phoenix. So that was a very interesting experience, seeing all these institutions go down. I think the government folks that were working on that were extremely competent. It was really a great experience working with them. The people in government, they really know what they're doing. And in that case, one of the lessons we get from that is there was a Speaker of the House at the time that took a form of a bribe. His name was Jim Wright, and he took a bribe and to keep some certain savings and loans open. And what we could have solved, a problem we could have solved for $15 billion if we closed the banks back then, or the savings and loans back then, Speaker Wright made it into $1 trillion problem.
Wow.
So that's, again, the problem with government corruption.
Yeah.
A little bit of benefit for the corrupt politician causes our citizens a whole lot of pain.
Right.
And we haven't seen it yet for Hillary Clinton, who sold one of our biggest uranium suppliers to essentially to Russian hands.
Right.
Vladimir Putin owns Uranium One now. And he is actually selling uranium to some of our nuclear utilities in the United States, and has pricing power because he has so much uranium under his control. Once again, if we get into a serious problem where we need uranium, like nuclear war, or we realize that the best solution for the climate is more nuclear power plants because they don't spew off carbon dioxide.
Thank you.
Now, do we have to deal with Vladimir Putin? Yes, we do.
Yep. Wow. Yeah, this is you are such a wise person. I really appreciate your time. We could go on, and the whole nuclear, the whole uranium thing, and the current corruption in government. I mean, we could do a whole show on that. But we're out of time right now, John O'Connor. I really appreciate your time, your insight, and your expertise. And I thank you for taking the time to get back to us and get on the show.
Thanks so much, and I love talking with you. Well, let's do it again.
All right,
Take
my
care
friend.
now.
I would love to do that. You have a great day. Have a great weekend, sir.
Okay.
Bye, John. John O'Connor. Wow. What an interesting, intelligent man with what a resume. Anyway, that's going to do it for today. We're out of time. I hope you have a great weekend. Remember, high school football today, weather permitting. It may be rescheduled, but weather permitting, 7 o'clock tonight. Mike Violette is out and about. The game is going on in Lewiston. I believe it's Lawrence is going to be playing. And Lawrence and Wyndham, I believe, in Lewiston. So the game will be on under the lights tonight, 7 o'clock. Should it go? Should it be canceled? Well, you'll obviously know that, but it'll be right here on AM 1160 and on our Listen Live locations at the website and on our free app. Have a great weekend. I'm John James. This is Freedom's Pep Rally.
WSKW, Legacy 1160.
You've probably seen them on the road, helping those that need them. And you can rest assured Delta Ambulance will be there when you need them most, too. Delta Ambulance prides themselves on having a team that utilizes superior training, years of experience, and state-of-the-art medical technologies. So if you need safe transportation for routine or critical care transfers, Delta Ambulance is standing by. Learn more about the difference Delta makes at deltaambulance.org. Compassion, leadership, excellence. That's Delta Ambulance.
If you love to shoot guns or just like to keep those skills up to par, you just need to put some rounds down range. At Economy Guns and Indoor Range at 81 Main Street, Madison,